Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live for Dissecting the Quran series where we pick up on chapter 4. I believe that's called the chapter of the women. So let's see how much of the chapter is actually dealing with the women. I think this one insults the women. We have Paul. Uh,
Hi.
I did email, I shouldn't say email. I did Skype what do to see if he could come, but I don't know what he's doing today because I haven't talked to him. But let me see, what do we got? Wow, we got 3 people. Okay. All right, let's get this show on the road. And we're going to keep it to 2 hours. I've had several people complain that 4 or 5 hour ones are too long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I can see that.
So
It's long for us too.
listen, I am used to like Christian Prince and Rob Christian. These guys do like 6, 7, 8 hour
Oh
shows.
wow.
There's an ex Muslima. Her name is Amina. I can't remember her last name, Sardine or something like that. I've seen her do like 8, 10 hour shows, kind of like a
Wow.
marathon, you know. But I'm like, I
I
think, go ahead.
I can only do 2 hours normally when I do my work. Yeah.
I think my longest is 5, 5.5, which is kind of pretty long. Sardar, okay. Yeah, I just know she's good looking, okay, but she's not a Christian. She believes in God or she believes in the Creator, but she's not quite convinced on Christianity yet. But she is an ex Muslim, and I think she lives in Denmark. Let me see. We got RJ. Good to see RJ. Jesus, Nemesis, XYZ. Um, must be at least 1 or 2 that I'm missing, although there's 6 watching. Probably a couple Muslims in the closets.
I'm gonna start doing some advertising.
All right. Yeah, I can't do any advertisements on Facebook because I will get my account closed down, and that's my account for my prepping group. That's about
Oh
3,000. So I don't want to lose that because
yeah,
I
I'm in the
lost.
middle of growing my.
Yeah, I lost my main account that I've had for like I don't know 12 years, just because I posted something that was political. I think, and before I had 3 or 4. I had set up like 4 accounts just for interacting with Muslims on those debate groups, and they put me on the hit list. So I got 300 days in jail 1 year, back to back. So out of 365 days, I couldn't do anything for 300 days. And
I haven't been ever in that kind of jail on Facebook,
huh,
but I I put I've learned to put most of my. I made a group and I made it private. A Setlifian report, and because of that, I do not get dinged most of the time. So I control who can become a member. So the catch is if you want to share something, you just can't hit share. There's no share button. So I can share whatever I want there, and I don't get dinged. But because I'm very selective of who becomes a friend, that's the other thing. But
yeah, so you're not as active like I was on the debate groups. I mean, I probably
no,
belong.
no, no. I haven't yet
Yeah,
to engage in a debate. So
that's
um,
that's why you haven't been in jail yet. The other time I used to get thrown in jail was because when I started Facebook, I actually used to my background was in fitness and nutrition, so I used to go to the so-called fitness gurus. They used to make these exaggerated claims, gain 30 pounds of muscle in 1 month using my program. So I would challenge them. So then I started getting mostly blocked from their pages and their groups. And then I got into politics when Obama was president. And let me tell you, the liberals are no better than the Muslims. They would report me if I said anything that went against their leftist narrative.
yeah.
And especially when you kind of spanked them in the debate. So then I got into Islam. I think it was 2012, 2013. Let me see. Obama was, yeah, 20. Yeah, it was about, let me see. It's been 8 years. Yeah, about 2013. And then I found out all these different religious debate groups, and I must have been on 15 of them. But then I started learning that if you post anything, like if you insult Muhammad, I would get dinged for hate speech, and I would get 30 days.
I I think I haven't got anything because any dings for that, and and that's because majority where I was doing my social media was on LinkedIn, and it's funny because I got kicked off for telling the truth about COVID. There, I got a
Mhm.
lifetime ban,
Wow.
but I never got dinged once for talking about anything about Islam because my job title is author of Civilization Jihad and the Myth of Modern Islam. So,
Right.
and because when you're a federally recognized expert in something, what are they going to say? So that's part of the joke of that. But yeah,
That is true. That is true. So you
you're
were
a big
you were
professional.
recognized by the federal government?
Yeah, I wrote a federal affidavit against Governor Nikki Haley, who was trying to bring Syrians into the country, and it got accepted uncontested.
Oh,
So
cool.
that
Man,
makes me federally recognized.
and I thought she was hot, but that's it. Kind of
No,
like
no, no. She was evil. She just does what she's told. That's what
she
she's
was
good
evilly
at.
hot. What's that other one that's a
That's
Democrat right now? That she's also hot, but I wouldn't vote for her.
I look at a lot of what. Yeah, there's the one thing I'll say about politicians, we can't. I would never trust a politician as far as you can throw them. I'm including Trump in that. I look
Oh
at
yeah,
policies. I look at policies. What choices do they make that we agree with? And that's what I get people who are all for one side or the other, and I'm saying let's just look at the policies. What are they actually going? What are they actually doing versus what they said? I mean, stuff like that. And that's where Trump was revolutionary and strange to some people because he actually did what he said he was going to do.
hey, Mr. Chris, God bless
Hey,
you. Hey, if you want to come on the show, let me know. I'll post a link. Um, I mean, I don't know. I
oh
mean,
my
see,
gosh, Facebook 8 months. Wow.
people used to say, "Oh man, you guys worship Trump." No, I mean,
No.
he actually wasn't my first pick, but he resonated, okay, because he was standing up. He was very different. He wasn't being a politician, and I gotta say, he did pretty much everything that he could do, given the circumstances of not having a Congress that the only thing they did was try to get the man impeached on bogus charges. So, and
And then they got proven bogus years after years
yeah,
after he leaves office.
and and the economy was doing great until the freaking COVID.
Hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, listen, if I could find, and it was funny because I was really on paper, because my whole family's Democrats,
Hmm.
but I was a Democrat from the time I graduated high school. But here's the funny thing. I pissed off my parents, well, actually my dad, because the first president I ever voted for was Reagan. And Reagan had
Same here. Same here.
Reagan had changed from Democrat to Republican, but I didn't care. I liked the guy. I liked what he was saying. Uh, and then after that, to be honest with you, I wasn't much into voting. I didn't vote for any other president except for Donald Trump.
Oh wow. Yeah,
And
you
it
did.
was funny
Yeah.
because Donald Trump was a Democrat, and he ran as a Republican, kind of like Reagan. I voted
Well,
for like the governor of Florida.
Trump actually was a Republican. He didn't. I don't think he switched parties. I think he just financed both sides. He played both sides of the fence because that way he could keep influence on both sides of the fence, which was I don't think that was his wisest choice, but that was something he did. I mean, maybe
I
business wise, it may have been the best thing. I don't know.
Right. I thought he was a Democrat.
No, he's been a Republican for a long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but listen, I believe in no parties. Okay, if I could find a good Democrat that held the same standards and values that I have and wanted kind of the same thing, like hard to find a Democrat that believes in the Constitution and a small government, who gets off of my case and stops trying to take away my rights and force stuff down my. I'd vote for them, but we don't
I
do it.
can't find a Democrat that doesn't agree with communism. So
I mean, for now, I had this saying: the worst Republican is still better than the best Democrat. You know,
yeah,
and
unfortunately,
and we'll have to see. All right, let's get started with this chapter number 4,
the
Surah,
women.
the Surah of the women. Uh, Yes, the women. All right. Okay. Muhammad differs. So okay. So we go chapter 1. I've been doing the math, and I think this is going to take us like 70 to 80 days.
Oh wow,
You know. Guess what? I started putting a book together, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it because basically what I did so far is just copy all the verses and put it into my Word doc, right?
yeah.
And then I was going to go there and verse by verse. I'm already at page 90, and I'm only on chapter 10.
Oh yeah. Well, that's not that. Yeah, I think you'll find that.
I'm like,
I
this
think
thing's going to be
I
like
think
a
you go
thousand
back and you
pages.
take. Well, let me know when you're yeah. Yeah, we can talk more when you're ready to do some transcription of what you've put together, or you take your notes from what we've done.
Yeah, because I was going to go back and I'm like, well, just copying the verses by itself
Yeah,
without putting any analysis into it, like we're doing here. I was like, wow,
yeah. You're going to have volumes, is what
I
you're going to have.
yeah,
You're going to
it's
have a series. You're going to have a volume 1, a volume 2, a volume 3, and a
it's
volume 4, probably.
yeah, I may have to break it up. It's going to be huge because I'm like I said, I'm looking.
It'll be like a task here.
There you go.
The task fear of oh my god, of Dr. Kufar phobia. That's what
There
we
you
could
go.
call it.
I'm going to have to use
Dr. Kufar phobia's tafsir. That's what you could
what
sell
they
it as.
call it when you don't use your real name. Something.
Anonymous.
I'm going to do like the Gospels. the,
uh,
dissecting the Quran according to Dr. Kufaphobia. I had one Muslim already tell me, well, but you don't understand the Quranic Arabic. You're just using
we've
the
had Arabic
translation.
speakers on here. That's no good
I go,
excuse.
oh, but you know what he said? He said, yeah, but he doesn't. He's just an Arabic speaker. He doesn't know the Quran Arabic. And I'm like, you got any more excuses? Because
I mean, the guy who translated this is a native Arabic speaker. We had the guy who we've had on the show is a native Arabic speaker. So, I mean,
and the funny thing is that even their own translations are done by Arabic scholars.
and you know
No,
what's funny? They're not accurate.
no, they're not. Some of
And
them,
we've seen that. We've
right?
seen
And
that over
some
and
of
over
them,
again when
right.
we discuss passages.
And some of them do a better job at trying to correct the mistakes that Allah made in His Arabic version.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't. There's just no way to do it.
Oh, yes, that's for sure.
All right, let's go. Verse 1. Oh, you people, fear your Lord who created you from a single soul and created a wife from it. Okay, but then he create
Wait, I thought he said he created us from mud or a clot.
well, I guess I mean this is the other beauty of the Quran because Adam was created from clay or dust or dirt.
So you
Okay,
have a soul that gets created.
so were
Is
we?
his soul physical? Are we talking about he created the spirit person, or I don't know if he's saying here he created the physical part here. That's an
You know what?
interesting point.
Let me go back up and what am I? Let me load up that website. Islam Awakened for.
From that, and then it says from it and from them he spread many men and women. So Allah's taking credit for.
Yeah, I guess after here's the thing. After okay, I agree that he created Adam.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about that. Okay, we don't quite know how he created Eve, but according to that chapter that we're on, okay, this one says, "O mankind, fear your Lord, the one who created you from a soul single, and created from it its mate."
Can you
And
share that screen or
yeah, it's pain in the ass to do. It would be easy to do on OBS, but
All
I
right.
only have one browser on this one. So let me
Okay. So
go.
what are you using?
Um, I'm using a website called. I'll post it on the thing on the private chat. Islam
Okay.
Awakened.
Oh, okay.
You basically get like 50, somewhere between 40 and 50 translations.
Okay. So let me.
Private chat there. Let me go back over here to YouTube. I think I can post it. It's my channel.
Mm,
I'm using that, and then I'm picking the word for word translation, which is
okay.
which is kind of right
Trying
after
to
being
figure out how do
translated.
you. Yeah, I haven't used this one before.
Okay, then let me go stop the screen. And I got to share the screen. See, all of this is automatically done on OBS. Brave. Now I want to go over here. Alnacia, share.
Oh, I see where you're at. Okay.
Okay, now of course nobody can
We're
see it.
on chapter 4, verse 1. All right. Maybe I can just when we get to something like this, I could just simply share my screen, which might help.
All right, let me see.
All right.
Actually, it probably would be easier because then I can just
Yeah, then you don't have to think
swap
about it.
back and forth. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, let me go back to the comments. You can see back on the screen, it says, "O mankind, fear your Lord. So far, so good. The one who created you from a soul single." Okay, that doesn't make sense, but it's supposed to be single soul. And created from it its mate, okay, and dispersed from both of them men and many women. And fear Allah, through whom you ask with it, and the womb. What? Allah is over you, ever watchful. Now,
I think as I read this, I think Osama cleaned things up.
it cleaned it up, okay, because this is
And fear
supposed to be a
Allah whom
word.
you ask of
This is
him.
supposed to be a word for word, and let me tell you, I'm having problems. This comes across as what I would expect from a non-English speaker,
Mhm,
somebody using a translator, because only
mhm.
in, like, for instance, in Spanish, the words are usually like, you know backwards,
Yeah.
and
I see that with the soul single, and yeah,
yeah,
some of these
instead of
are
saying a single soul. All right, let me
yeah.
go back and go back to Osama. And if you share your screen, then we can
Oh, I can do that. We can use my screen for this. Okay.
do this one if we
Share
need to.
screen, and there we go.
Want to go to generous there. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so then when we want to do yours, we'll just switch it to yours and then go back to, yeah, this is much better. Because right now, I think the only option is you can share multiple videos, but you can only use one.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up a different one. I'm going to pull up that we are in. When you're ready to share, I'll have that up.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're back to Osama. So now I got to switch back to back. Okay, so all you people, fear your Lord who created you from a single soul, and created a wife. Okay, wife mate. I'm not going to worry about that. And from them he spread. What's number one? He spread abroad many men and women. Okay, and fear Allah, of whom you ask of him, and the wombs. Now that doesn't make any sense. Not even in Osama's uh, uh, version.
Yeah, Usama. It's kind of. I mean,
And
he's doing his best, and even
right,
it's
and
choppy at best.
right,
And fear Allah of whom you ask him, and the wombs, and that's pretty much word for word what it said in the other translation.
yeah. I mean,
And
it doesn't make any sense. And
surely
fear
Allah
Allah.
was watching over you, but it sounds in Usama's translation, it looks like Allah wants to take credit for the
The
for this
descendants of
for the for man creating man
right.
that way as bluntly as I'll put it. I'm
Okay,
not talking about I'm talking about the generations he's talking
right.
about.
And all of a sudden, it jumps from Allah creating from a single soul, which Um,
Allah's creation. Okay. And now
we
we're in verse 2, and holy cow.
I mean, if we're going to be nitpicky, I would say Adam was created from clay and then a soul was breathed into him, but you still needed a clay.
Or they, I can't figure out when I read this, if they're talking about the soul being created and not the physical body, because it's not. Allah creates man from clay. He creates him from clot. He creates him from mud. I haven't
All
figured
over the
out
place.
which, it depends on what part of the Quran you read, if it's been
Right.
abrogated or not. Which you can't. Allah isn't consistent. He apparently doesn't know what he said before.
And the main kicker is the verse that says, and he created you from nothing. Well, how did he create you from nothing? But he used clay, he used dust, he used a blood clot, he
Yeah.
used a drop of semen, which we're not created from a drop of semen. But I don't understand is how all of a sudden in verse 2, we go into and give to the orphans their money and do not substitute the worthless for the good and do not consume their money to your money. Surely this was a great a great sin. How did we get from your Lord created you from a single soul to and give to the orphans? How did we get to the topic of the orphans?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is some messed up stuff. Okay, let's go to
There
number.
is no flow. There
No,
is
there's no
no
clue at
flow.
all. Okay, 3. And if you fear that you cannot deal fairly among the orphans, so have sex or marry what appeals to you from the women 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, now here's the problem. And what dude brought this up, and now I understand what he's trying to say. It's basically saying, okay, so have sex, married what appeals from you from the women, 2 and 3 and 4. So we got 2 plus 3, that's 5 plus 4, that's 9.
So you
Because
can have 9 wives.
right. So the correct would be, marry from the women 2 or 3 or 4. But since it's using and, what does the other one
That
say?
means you add them up.
Right. Does the other one say and?
I
Let me
don't.
go. Let me go since I have
Let me
it up.
pull it up. Hold on a second. I can share that.
And
Let's
give to
see if
the
I can
orphan
get that.
the wealth, and do not exchange the bad with the good, and do not consummate their wealth. And if you fear you'll not be marry one or what possesses your right hand. That doesn't even mention the two and the three and the four. Oh yeah, it does. But here it correct. It says from the women 2 or 3 or 4, which makes sense. So, but let me see the Arabic because I know
So I pulled it up. I think I have it.
because I know
Yeah,
what it looks
I
like.
have I have 3 translations up from Islam Awakened. The
Okay,
Assad, the Clear Quran,
you're gonna
and
have to blow it up to about 200.
okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and pull up the Arabic so I can see if it
And
has
I don't know how to. I'll be honest, I don't know how to do that with
what
this. Can you see this now or no?
I I would probably blow it up one or two more. I have
Okay,
mine at 200 200 zoom.
okay, because it's just hard for me to see that.
Okay,
All right,
now it's good.
okay.
Right now, keep
And how
going
do you pull the
down.
Arabic up? Like I haven't used this before, so I
Yeah,
don't actually know.
yeah, it should be coming up. Keep going. It's further
Oh, it's Clear
down.
Arabic. Okay,
Yeah,
here we go.
keep going. Okay, okay. Let me go on my screens because I can't show you with my pointer. All right. Oops.
Okay, what do you want? I'm using the point. I got
Okay,
my
you
pointer
see that little thing that looks like a G with a slash on the top?
just right here. Yep.
Yeah, that means and. So the guy who did the word for words,
Mm-hmm.
I think they lied because he says or. But I'm
Hmm.
gonna go and I'm gonna put this on.
No, I have. He says, and here I'm looking, and give to the orphans their wealth, and do not exchange the bad. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. So that'd be the next verse. Hold on, let me get to the next verse. Can I just hit? Oh, I can go up here and just change that. I'm on the wrong verse. Apologize for that. All right. I see that in the Assad version, it's or. I see it in the Clear Quran. It is or. In the Safi Kaskas,
Three.
it is or. And in the word for word, it is or. Holy cow.
All right. Let me.
Okay, so let me go back up here. Yeah, that little G with a. You're right.
I'm going to go to Google Translate and see what Google Translate says. Let me see. Of course, a link to it. That's not what I want. I want to go ahead and Control C, Control V. And if you leave not to be what the hell? No, forget that because you don't want to read what Google says. Google says, and if you leave not to be installed and the end of the following, I will not be able to sleep and a quarter. What the hell? That makes no sense at all. So I guess Google fails on that one, but all right. I've got one more Quran.com. Quran, oops. Quran.com/4/4. Okay. Try the new website. No, I don't want the new website. Verse 4, and but if they willing go for something, go for you, then devour it with satisfaction. What the hell? What are we talking about here? Oh, 300. I don't want this thing to be 300. Is it? No, no, it's verse 3. That's what it is, not verse 4. Verse 4.
So there is a huge factor here. The difference between and or. Now we used to teach this in math class. In math class, if you have or, we're talking about the conditions of something being true. Both things have to be true, or both things have to be false in order for or. Sorry, no. So both things have to be true, or one thing has to be true for or. Okay, you can't have both things false. All right, that's just the math version of it. Now, it's either or when you're talking about true. It's not necessarily and means both, always means both. So if you go 2 and 3, that's 5. And then you add 4 because you're saying and again, that's
Right,
9. But
right.
if you're saying 2 or 3, okay, it's one or the other. And if you're saying 4, well, it's one of those 3. You don't have that. You don't. So
Yeah, even Quran.com is translating that. Let me see. I am almost sure that little G by itself is and.
hmm.
I'm going to go to Google Translate. Okay, let me get out of here. Yeah, see, when I put it in Google, it's and.
Yes, that is the word and. I mean, you can see it. It's repeated in here over. I'm going to just
Yeah.
point it out to some people since I've
Let me
got that
go
screen up.
into. Let me
It is
go.
here. I mean, it's one. It's here. Oh, it's in again a couple of times right here. You see it here. Oops, and I went to something I did that didn't need to do. All right, it's
No,
there.
that's and.
Yeah,
That's and because or
how did I
it,
do that?
or is the G, but it has what
Is
does it?
a little circle on above it?
No, it's word for word. What? Okay, not this. Okay, I saw that before. And no,
So you keep seeing that G
it
with
has
it.
it has a Mada and then the G with the slash.
Hmm.
Or actually, it has a G but no fatha on the top.
Hmm. So
So to me,
it's
it's got to be in because what dude was laughing one day. He says, "No, it doesn't say uh, uh, two
or
or three or four. It says and, so it's two and three and 4. He
So
said
this would
9.
explain why Muhammad had as many wives as he had. He didn't see this as wrong because his original statement was 2 and 3 and 5 and
Okay, hold on a
4.
second. Hey, Gedalia, are you saying what is in the verse in Arabic? Okay, I do see an or. You see what you got highlighted there, Paul?
Yeah, yeah,
If you go a little bit to the left, you see that G, and then you see the line with a little thing on the top.
this right here.
I
Can you
can't
see this or
I
no?
can't see your cursor. Yeah, that right there. That's or. Yeah, unfortunately, it does that.
Yeah,
Okay, but there's a whole bunch of the other G's that are by itself with just a little fatha on the
yeah,
top.
I'm
I
seeing
can
them.
tell
So
you, we're on chapter 4, verse 3.
I'm I'm trusting. Yeah, I understand that. It's so. How
I
do
don't
you?
think it's
I
or.
mean, the truth of the matter is, this is actually something important to Islam because you need to know if you can have 2, 3, or 4 wives, or if you can have 9. Not to say that you this next. Oh, we're not even done with 3. It gets worse. So, if you can, whether you can have 9 or 3 or 2 or 4 is another matter. But reading that, the rest of this,
Or, okay, I don't see any ors.
yeah,
Let me see what Gedalia is saying. Highlight the, okay, RJ says to highlight the next words. The next word is next to it. Before it,
you talking
before
about this
it,
one?
before it makes it or. I have no clue. Yeah, that little that straight line that looks like an aleph, Gedalia. Yes, that makes it an or. But the other ones, you know what? Let me just go over here. Let me go.
You keep seeing this. I mean,
Let me go.
you keep seeing these and those are the ands.
Yeah,
One
that's
here,
the end.
yeah, and you see
Okay.
them throughout. So you can take a look. You can just if I keep clicking on it, it keeps changing the page, but you can see them throughout. So
I
those are
I
the ands.
I honestly only see one or.
I only see one also, and I don't know
I,
that
I
that's an
see
or.
I see two. I see at least two ands. The one that you got
I've
right
counted
there.
3. I've
Oh, you
counted
did?
3.
Okay,
Yeah,
then I missed it then.
one, the first one. All right. There's
Okay,
another one
and
here.
right.
I saw another one here too. I thought I saw another one. There's one up here. There's 2 up here. So
Okay,
that's 1, 2, 3, and this right
and
here.
it would
That's
be
4, and 2 and 3 and 4. 2 and 3. Maybe that's what those are from. 2 and 3 and 4 and maybe that's how it's done. I'm not sure about the Arabic, but
which
what
what
do
you
is
was
here.
there.
But he's right. He's right. This is problematic.
All right, let me text him, see if he's busy.
If you want, I can call Usama.
If he wants to come on the show, I'd
He's
love
been
that.
he's been online. He's been doing a
Yeah,
show.
he was on DCC. He was
Yeah,
with Huntoon for her
yeah.
last
So
show.
he might not be available, but I can ask.
I'm not sure if there's. Let me just text. What do? Let me see. Let me see. Actually, he hasn't responded to my text today. Are you free? I'm trying to think who else I know that speaks Arabic, but I'm almost sure that that's end. All right, let's keep going. Let me go
All
back.
right. If you
Okay,
want, okay. All right.
let's go back to
I
Osama.
think we need to go on. So if
Right
you
now.
fear that you will not treat them equally, so one wife or having sex with what your right hand possesses.
Right.
Wait, this is near that you may not have hardship. Wait a minute. Wait,
Okay.
the right hand possesses is about your slaves.
Right. Your
So
captives.
so you're having sex with your slaves. It's already defining that. So that's okay. It's given approval here. Um, you can have. So if you fear that you will not treat them equally, so one.
So if you can't treat your wives equally, then it's suggested that you only have one wife, or have sex, or have only marry one wife, or you can have sex with what your right hand possesses, which would be the captive slaves. Three, okay, three concubines and slaves. Okay, what your right hand possesses, concubines and slaves. This is near that you may not have hardship. God forbid you don't have sex for 2 hours. I mean, Allah cannot have you not have sex for 2 hours. And give the women their dowry as a free gift. So if they give you from their own soul parts of it,
And this
then,
does again. This is another disjointed
yeah.
thing. It's a totally different topic, and this is
So, okay, so you give the women their dowry as a free gift. Okay. So if they give you from their own soul part, I'm probably talking about vagina here, and then consume it with enjoyment. What are you consuming with enjoyment and
oh
pleasure? The only way you're going to consume something with enjoyment and pleasure, we're talking about the humpity.
yeah. This
Okay,
is
and
a
do not
discussion of
and
sex, unfortunately.
and and do not give the retarded your money, which Allah has placed with you for their support. Okay, we're talking about orphans and how you can marry two and three and four. Now it's talking about don't give your money to the retarded. How do we get to the retarded? And which okay, so you're giving money to help the retarded. So you got to make sure you don't give the retarded your money, and give provision to them from it. Okay, so Allah gives you money.
Okay, so in the word for word, it says, "And do not give the foolish your wealth."
Okay.
Uh,
See, I wish Christian Prince was here, or I knew Arabic, because
yeah,
which
but
translation
either
do you
way, you're supposed to be giving money to help persons. That's the purpose of your donating to the poor. And I'm not saying giving foolish people wealth is a wise thing,
right?
but saying retarded is totally different. If that's what this passage, I mean, either way, um, I mean, I don't agree with supporting people who just are too lazy to work. It doesn't say
Right.
lazy here. It One says foolish, one says retarded. Um, Either way, it's people who are not don't give your money to people who are not wise with money. I guess that's the way you could look at it. Which Allah has placed with you for their support. Wait a minute, you're supposed to support. Did you catch that? Which Allah has placed with you for their support. So wait a minute, you're supposed to support them, but don't give them money. I think
Right.
that's how I would take that.
You have to supply them with their provisions. So
Yeah, don't
uh,
give them any cash. Make sure you help them with
so
somebody else.
here's the funny thing. Allah gives you the money to support the foolish or the retarded, okay? And you're supposed to give them provisions from it, like okay, you're supposed to give provisions to them from it. Okay, so the clothes are separate from the provision. So what is this provision?
Which would be their food, I'm assuming,
I guess.
or
Okay,
their place to live.
I mean, could be. Your guess is as good as mine. And clothe them and speak to them with kind speech. Okay, and test the orphans until they reach the age of having sex. Okay, what do you mean test the orphans? How do you test them?
That's a little
Okay,
scary.
so if you perceive in them sound judgment, so hand over their money to them, but do not consume it. Okay, which means do not spend it. But how do you
How
test
do they
someone?
have money? I mean, these are orphans.
I don't know. That's a very good question. If these are orphans, how do they have money? Where did they have the money from?
Where did I mean, did their parents leave money for them? I
Uh,
mean, and that was supposed to be safe to support them at a later age. I mean, I can understand that concept.
maybe Allah,
It was a
maybe
trust fund, basically.
who knows? Maybe Maybe the orphans came
But
from rich family.
so let's go back just a hair and test the orphans until they reach the age of having sex.
Okay, so how do you test somebody until they reach the age of sex, marriage, and
Check to
what is
see
it?
if they have puberty. Is that what they're
it-
saying?
I mean, it could be.
Oh my gosh.
You have to wait until the women have pubic hairs. Also, see, here's the whole thing. To Muslims, a child having a period, that's the green flag. So if you have your period, let's say at 9, you're good to go, honey. If you have your period at, let's say, 7, you're good to go, because they assume having a period means maturity and that you're capable of having sex, which is totally disgusting. Even if she was 12 years old and she got her period, that's still disgusting, especially with a 50-year-old man that's supposed to be a prophet of God. Okay, hold on a second. Let me go back here.
And like what Du was saying, this Quran is about money. It's about sex and booty.
Yeah. Okay, and test the orphans until they reach the age of having sex. So if you perceive in them a sound judgment, a judgment of what? So hand over their money to them, but do not consume it wastefully or by hastily entrusting it to them until they grow up.
So this sounds like they have the whoever again. These have to be wealthy orphans. I mean that there was money set aside for them. And
Okay, but in chapter 6, it says, give them their money when they reach the age of having sex. So if you perceive in them,
I mean, it
no,
sounds
okay,
like you're paying a dowry, doesn't it? Because you're marrying them
okay,
off.
test the orphans until they reach the age of having sex. Then, if you perceive in them a sound judgment, which I don't know what that means, sound judgment in what? So hand over their money to them, but do not consume it wastefully or hastily, entrusting it to them until they grow up. Okay, so they have to grow up. What's the definition of grow up? And whoever was rich,
Wait, oh, did they just say here and admit that they've been talking about prepubescent kids again
I mean, it could be, I
until
don't,
until they reach the age of having sex? So then growing up, okay, so they're not adults, but they can give them away in marriage. And wow, yeah,
I
that's kind of
mean,
what they just admitted to. They've been testing them while they're prepubescents, and I mean, I don't even want to know what they're talking about with testing.
I don't know. Okay, and then okay, and whoever was rich, who's Allah talking about? So let him stay away from it. Stay away from what?
And whoever was poor, so let them consume from it with fairness.
I mean, I have
If that
no,
makes any sense to you, please tell us.
no, it doesn't. It makes absolutely
Who's
zero sense.
whoever?
I have no clue.
Who is he
Okay,
talking? What is he talking about?
And Allah is a sufficient encounter, and Allah is a
A
sufficient.
counter, a counter.
Okay, number 7 is encounter. Is a sufficient. Okay,
So you
Osama
can count money.
Osama says number 7 is a man. So where does man fit in? Is he saying that encounter is a man?
No, no, seven is a verse here.
Oh,
Seven
I'm
is the
sorry.
number of the verse.
Yeah, you're right. It's not blue. Okay, so a sufficient encounter. What verse are we on? We're
We're
on.
in number seven now. Two men.
Yes. So let's read in 6. And is sufficient Allah as a reckoner instead of an encounter, a reckoner. I don't even know what that has to do with the passage. Okay, so number
I
7.
think I think he I think the statement here is that Allah understands how to count money.
That could be. He's a good.
And if that's that says something about how small the God is, because
Hey, I wonder if Allah has a degree in accounting.
oh my gosh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of scary. I mean, when you start thinking about some of this stuff, holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very confused passage. Okay. To men, a portion of what their parents and relatives leave. To a woman, a portion of what their parents and relatives leave, whether it be little or much, an obligated portion. Okay. Okay. And when the relatives are present at the division, okay, but I thought you could only like inherit it after they die. Okay, because it says,
And the relatives leave, whether it be little or much, an obligated portion. So if you're an orphan, the relatives have an obligation to provide for you, is the only thing I can think of. And that may be the money they're talking about. They can leave something, but I would think that would be to help pay for you until you get to a certain point. So that almost sounds like that money should go to the person's raising you rather than being set aside for you later.
yeah, but look at it. It starts off by saying, to men a portion of what their parents and relatives leave. I would think that the parents and the relatives were dead. That's why they
Yeah,
left.
that's kind of what that says. Yeah.
Right. And to a woman, okay, but then it says, and to and to women a
Oh, they get
portion
the women get less. They only get
of
a
what their
portion.
parents and okay, and what their parents and relatives leave. Okay, whether it be little
So,
or much, and
so that,
obligated. But then in 8 it says, and when the relatives are present at the division of the money. But I just thought that they were dead.
why are they called orphans if their parents are present?
I don't know.
Wait, if their relatives are present, how are they orphans?
I don't know.
I'm,
And when the
that's
relatives
enough
are
confusion.
present, but in chapter in verse 7, apparently it's insinuating that the parents and the relatives leave. That means they died, or did they leave them money and they're still alive? I mean, who knows? And when the relatives are present in the vision, and the orphan and the poor, and the orphans and the poor, so give portion to them from it. Okay, I guess you're supposed to take the money that was left to you and give some of it to the orphans and the poor, and speak to them with kind speech. Yes, we got that. And let those who, if they left behind them weak offspring, have fear over them. So let them fear Allah, and let them speak correct speech. And let those who, if they left behind them weak offspring. So if you die and you leave behind weak offspring, what does weak offspring mean? Have fear over them. Why would you have fear
Okay, so
over?
so the closest I can think of here, if we're talking about Muhammad was left behind, and part of the reason he was left behind was because they think he was having seizures. He was recorded as having fallen and having these episodes. So this is one of the reasons why people think he had epilepsy. And they actually sought to return him to his family at one point. So he would have been considered one of those weak offspring. If they left behind those weak offspring and have fear over them, so Allah and let them speak correct speech. How does that even make any sense?
I don't know. Surely those who consume the money of the orphans. But how did the orphans have money? We're back to the same question. Orphans tend not to have money unless these orphans had, the parents had money. Then I could see them having money. Okay, so surely those who consume the money of the orphans unjustly, surely they only consume fire in their bellies.
So here's my question about this. I know I'm way off, maybe, but is chapter 4 in Medina? Do we know that?
I could tell you in 1 second.
And if this is a Medina chapter, I have an answer for some of this, maybe.
Chapter 4. Chapter 4, where are you? This is most likely going to be. Yes, chapter 4 is
Okay.
actually chapter number 92.
Okay.
So
So
this is
so
after
here's
all the
here's
conquering.
here's my answer to what's going on here. The money they're talking about, in according to Surah Al Rasul, the people in Medina were receiving, each individual was receiving a portion of the raids that received. So this money they're talking about was money that was available and given to each individual. So Allah or Muhammad actually was supposed to divide up the spoil amongst the people that were there. And I mean, it wasn't just the warriors. The warriors got an extra portion, but he would split up money between those in Medina. So apparently, that money that he would split it up with would also be given to someone to hold for orphans, which I find interesting. But
Well, they just created the orphans by killing the parents.
well, the parents would have died in battle, and that's
Right.
what we're get. That's how it would have been. Um, the mother may have died in childbirth, but the father probably died in battle.
Or the
Um,
mom was sold off as a slave, sex
oh, that's
slave.
also possible too.
Right.
Yes. So that's the only thing that kind of makes sense. That's the history behind that.
Yeah,
I
because this
recommend
is
if you haven't bought The Life of Muhammad, the Surah Al Rasul, I recommend you actually buy it and take a look at that. Please
you
do.
you're talking about Sirat Rasulallah?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
the by what's his name? Gilliam.
Gilliam.
Yeah, okay. I mean that sucker's free all over the place.
Oh yeah. Let me just say it's free, but I like the hard copy. That's me. So
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah. I know you hard copy. Okay, here's the one where it says the male receives twice the female, but I think somebody did the math on this, and it shows that Allah failed at math because you end up having more than 100%. I'm not going to go through that. Um, that might be for another show. Let me see.
Okay,
We're
so we're on
50.
Surah 411.
Yeah, boy, and we're almost an hour in. Okay,
Okay.
Allah commands you concerning your children to the male the like portion of two females. So if there were more than two females, so they will have 2/3 of what of that which their father left.
Okay. So if there's three children, there's 3/3.
Let me see. If there's three children and one is a male, right? So
He
the
gets
male
two
the
thirds.
male gets half,
No, the male gets 2/3.
which is half.
No, he gets 2/3. It's not half. Two
Oh,
thirds.
okay. I'm sorry.
2/3. And what's left, the 1/3 goes to the other female. Now there's a problem when we get in here. If there is only one, then that yeah, Allah failed math. There is for her. Oh my gosh. Okay. So since when does 2/3 since when does 1/3 equal a half? Somebody please explain that to me. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so the male gets the portion of two females.
Which is
So
so if he's getting two, this is where it gets down to. He's getting the portion of two females. That's two people, all right? And if there's a female, that means so there's three, okay? So he's getting two, maybe there if that's half, he gets twice as much as oh, we can just say it this way. He's supposed to get from the misunderstanding of the way this is done, he gets twice as much as whatever she gets. Let's put it that way. If there's three, if there's just two people, okay? If there's just two people, the it sounds like the
well, now
man gets
it
twice
has
as
to be
much.
it has to be three because it says to the male the like of two females. So there has to be two females. So there has to be a male. So if you leave behind a male and two females, he gets the portion of two females.
And they would get nothing.
You'd have to do
I
some. You'd have to
yeah.
do some serious math here, okay? And then it says, but if there's more than two females, so they will have 2/3 of that which their father left.
Well,
Okay,
Allah doesn't know math.
I'm I'm
Wait, so here's the
decent.
funny part.
I mean,
What
I'm
was
decent
Muhammad
with math.
supposed to be good at? It's
You would think
math
I
because he was a trader.
as as a trader, you would have
Oh
to be
my
good with math.
gosh. Okay, so this actually makes more sense when you start to understand that if Muhammad was illiterate and he couldn't do math, now we're really getting into it. Whoever wrote this did not understand fractions.
No, no, no.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and if there is only one, then for her it's half.
See the 2/3 would only work if
There's
it was
three.
just you and let's say
And
your
what?
sister.
Yeah, that's right. So if there's two people, that's where the 2/3
Right.
goes to him, and she gets a
You would
third.
get 2/3 and she would get a third. Now, if there's a male and let's say two females, That gets a little tricky.
So I don't even want to get into the math on
Yeah.
that one. That's
Well,
I'm not a
like I
math
said,
genius.
somebody did the math before, and let me tell you, it's mind-boggling.
The
Okay,
women really get shafted here. That's what it
right.
comes down to.
And if
She's
she,
getting so if it's two girls, they're getting like a sixth, is what it comes down to, because he's getting 2/3 regardless. He's getting it, and they get whatever's left
right,
over.
because two sixes would be 1/3, and his 2/3 would be a whole.
Yeah, and then they have to split the third, the two
Yeah,
girls.
that sucks.
That's a
And if
sixth.
she was one daughter, she will have the half, and to his parents, to every one of them, a
Oh, there's the
sixth
sixth.
part
Yeah.
of what he left if there was to him. Okay,
It
but I
doesn't make
don't
any
understand if
sense.
she was a daughter and she will have the half, and to his parents, but his parents are dead. And
So
to
in
his,
the word for word, it uses a sixth. It's is interesting. So they actually understand there's problems with the math here, and they try to correct it. Oh
okay,
my God.
and if she was one daughter, okay, then she will. Okay, I'm assuming there's a male, and at the same time one daughter. She will have the half of the half, and to his parents. Okay, is what's his parents got to do with it? They're dead. And to his parents, to every one of them, a sixth part of what he left. Okay, I'm confused. Who died?
Wait a minute.
Was it the
Why do
parents?
the parents get a portion when they're dead?
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. This is if the son dies, I think. If the son dies, uh his daughter gets half, and then to his parents, to every one of them, a sixth part of what he left, there was to him a surviving son. Okay. Well, does he have a surviving son or not? I mean, this is like,
Oh my, it doesn't
so
make
if there
sense.
was to him brothers, so okay, so okay.
So here's
So
another problem. If you have two sons, they each get a portion, which would be the equivalent of
well, if you get two sons, it's
you're
half each.
splitting 2/3. Let's say you're splitting 2/3.
Well, if you have two sons and no daughters, then I would say it's half and half.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I mean, that would be the only thing that's fair. But then when it gets to over here, so if he had no son and his parents are his heirs, to his mother will get a third. So if there was to him brothers,
Wow.
to his
Where do you get? I mean, so you've already dealt away. You've already given away the whole portion once, and now mom gets a third.
I
This math is really screwed up. Alan doesn't
but
understand math.
if he has brothers, the mother only gets she only gets 1/6 after any will number four after any monies was made for it or any
Mama
debt.
isn't worth it. You only have to give her a small farthing, and she gets less
So
than
you
she
have
gets a
to
six.
first pay off the debts, and then you can divvy up. As to your fathers of your children, you know not which of them is the closest to you in usefulness. What?
And how does that relate to this? It doesn't. Alice having a seizure. I'm sorry. And I say this, and if you haven't heard me
Well, wait a
before,
minute.
I'm the guy who has
A woman could only marry one husband.
your
Where
fathers
do
or
we
your.
get the fathers from? As to your fathers, okay. As to your
Is this
father,
even?
oh,
This is even. My question is this even related? I mean, to
I
what he
don't
was
know.
just saying, because I don't. It's like it just got thrown in here and it doesn't fit.
Okay,
Maybe it's part of the. Maybe the goat got that part.
so as to your okay, so I read this wrong. It's not of your children. As to your fathers or your children, so that means the father on, I guess, your father and his father,
Hmm.
but You
Yeah.
know not which of them is the closest to you in usefulness. So now you have to figure out which one do you have to figure out is closest to you in usefulness? Your children or your fathers?
This is really confusing.
Okay, this one starts off really. You want a brain teaser? This is it. This is the ordinance of Allah. Surely Allah was knowing. Okay, wait a minute, was. You
Allah
mean
was knowing wise.
Allah?
Allah
Surely
Allah
Allah
knew
was
something, but he
knowing.
didn't know he wasn't wise
Okay,
because he doesn't know math.
see, if I read this, surely Allah was knowing. Does that mean he's not knowing now? Was there a period where he was knowing and then he gave it up? And you will have half of what your wives leave if there is no son to them. Okay, so your wife dies and you don't have a son, you get half. Why would you get
Wow.
half?
So who else gets the rest?
Exactly.
Everyone that you know, all your male to relatives that they're going to take care of you. That's what it is, because you're not
I
allowed to
mean,
take care of yourself.
unless if your wife dies, you get half, but then the other half gets split up
This is too
between
confusing.
what? Her mom and dad
I
and
think
the
if you have a Muslim that really believes in how great the Quran is, can you ask them to explain the math in chapter 4?
Yeah, I think in one of my things that I have here, it's called the contradictions or in the Quran. I think there's an explanation. I'll have to find it. I think there's a whole because this is just I mean mind-boggling. First of all, the sentences don't really make sense, and then you're trying to figure out what they're talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have half of what your wife leaves if they don't have a son. So if there was a son to them, then a fourth of what they leave will be yours. So if your wife has a son, you only get a fourth. So what happens to the other three fourths?
Oh,
Okay,
it goes to the men who are going to take care of the women because she can't be trusted to take care of herself.
man, I don't know. And your wives will have a fourth,
Notice it's a plural.
and your wives will have
So,
a fourth part
so
of
that
what
that could
you
mean not only a
leave.
fourth, that could mean a 16th if you have multiple wives. I mean, they would get it.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
you're talking about your wife dying, you get a half. If she has a son, you get a fourth. Then it talks about if your wife's get a fourth if you die and there was no son. But if there was a son, they will have an eighth part of what you leave after any payments, after any debt. I mean, man, this would just
This tells
definitely.
me Allah again doesn't know math.
And if a man or a woman bequeaths was lacking heirs, so that means if a man or a woman dies and she doesn't have any heirs, and he has a brother or sister, well, I mean, so to each of them the sixth. Okay, but
Wait a
that
minute.
means there has
So
to be. That means there
six.
has to be six people.
What if there isn't six?
Exactly.
Allah, no, Muhammad benefits. He gets the rest, right?
Because it says, so if there was more than this, so they will be the sharers in a third after any will was made for it and any debts. I mean, yes, this is the command of Allah. Oh my God.
The command of the guy who doesn't know math.
I mean, you want to talk about some really, hey, Danny, good to see you. I mean, oh my God, I am,
Okay, you cannot tell me this is a God because he doesn't know basic fractions. He doesn't understand basic math. The principles of math are totally gone from this.
I
I mean,
mean,
even you can't even get basic instructions on how to do the math from this because it's not accurate.
I don't even know how many scenarios are on this thing. Okay, so this is a command from Allah, and Allah is knowing, forbearing. Okay, 13. These are the boundaries of Allah, and whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, He will admit him to the gardens, and we know below them have rivers, and they abide in the garden forever. And this is the great triumph. Okay. 14. And whoever will disobey Allah, His Messenger, and will transgress His boundaries, He will admit him into a fire to abide in it forever, and he will have a shameful torment.
Well,
As it
wait a
says,
minute. Didn't they want us to sin a little while
yes.
back?
All right. Now, how does? Okay, so so check this out. We just went from a mass confusion on inheritance. Now
Okay.
we come to, and for those who commit indecency.
Well,
So we just came
so
from.
if we didn't have this version, you wouldn't have this break in the middle here.
I mean,
If-
if, yeah. I mean, thank God for Osama giving this breakdown for us. But how did we?
wow.
How did we get from inheritance, the division of inheritance, to, and for those who commit indecency, number five would be lesbianism or adultery
Hmm.
among your women, so call for witnesses from among you against them. Now, here's the thing: where are you going to find four witnesses that
Okay.
actually witnessed the act? And my
So
understanding
so if
is
you
they have,
rape a woman,
she's got
are
to
you
have
going to
four
do that in
witnesses.
front of others?
Yes.
Oh
Now the lady is
God.
going to say, she's going to get out her little diary. She's going to say, okay, on January the 15th, I got a good feeling I am going to get raped. So I'm going to have four witnesses to watch it to make sure that, I mean, so
Oh,
you get
wow.
four witnesses. So if they testify, so detain them in their houses until death takes them, or Allah makes another way for them. Okay,
Now,
so
are they telling us that Medina was so populated that you couldn't go any place without people being present?
I guess. But here's the funny thing: if you have four witnesses and the four witnesses testify, and I guess they say she had sex or
Yeah.
committed indecency, okay, she's supposed to stay in the house until death takes them. I could have sworn it was stoning, or Allah makes another way for them. I guess the other way is stoning. All right,
So
so
detain them in their houses until death. So detain them in their houses until death
that means they
takes
can't
them, or
take out
Allah makes
they
another way
can't,
for them.
right. So they can't come out
Wow.
of the house until they're dead. Okay, and if
I've heard of
two,
house arrest. That's a little
yeah, and
lengthy.
if two men among you commit it,
Commit what?
well, first of all, it doesn't say two men. That's Osama. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
this is what.
No, it doesn't say men. It just says two.
And if two, okay, well, here we have, and for those who commit indecency among your women, okay, so because Osama says lesbianism or adultery, but we don't know what that is.
Okay, let me pull up the other version here. This is verse 15. Okay, pull it up.
Yes. I mean, this is
I'll
like,
pull it up.
well,
15.
and of those who commit the immorality from your women. Okay, so what immorality? I guess being lesbian or committing adultery,
And
then call to
then
witness
call
against.
to witnesses against them, four among you, and if they testify, then confine them in their houses until comes to them the death makes Allah for them. And we're on to, yeah, it's not really clear.
Right. So you don't know what 16 is saying, and if two among you commit to what, male and female, male and male, female and female, then punish them. Okay, what's the punish? Then what's the punishment?
So it says, and the two who commit it among you, this is the word for word, then punish both of them. Two who commit it, commit what?
Right.
I
And
mean, we're not
which
sure if the
two?
two are two guys, two
Right.
girls.
Two
I know what.
guys. Two guys, two women, a guy
A
and
man and
a
a guy and
guy
a girl. Yeah,
right,
and
and
punish
commit
both of them.
and
We
commit.
don't know what they did,
Okay, well,
but we're
I
gonna
guess
punish them.
I guess the committed would be indecency, which we don't know what indecency is because it doesn't say adultery or
Okay.
lesbianism or any of that stuff. Then punish them, but we don't know what the punishment is
But
because
if
it
they
says,
repent and correct themselves, then turn away from both of them. So
okay,
wait, there's a further punishment. Even if they do what's right and they beg forgiveness, you shun them. Oh, yeah, how is that being
well,
merciful?
I mean, it could mean by leaving them alone, like you don't punish them.
No, it says leave them alone.
Right, leave them
That's a
alone, like
shunning.
don't punish them. Right, it could be that, but again, Allah knows best. Surely Allah was relenting, merciful. Surely the repentance is only from Allah to those who do the evil in ignorance and then soon repent. So those are whom Allah relents on, and Allah was knowing, wise. Allah was knowing. Okay, should
He
be
hasn't
Allah
showed us
is
much of what he
knowing.
knows, that's for sure.
Okay,
All right. No
uh,
one. Are we on
no,
to 18?
yeah.
Okay.
And the repentance is not for those who do the evils. What evils? Until when the death comes to one of them, he says, "Surely I now have repented."
From
And
what?
uh, from their evils, whatever that is. And
Yeah.
neither, okay, and neither to those who die while they are infidels. I don't
Wait,
know what that means.
does that even make any sense?
No.
Wow.
Okay. Those who have, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Those who die in infidel while they're infidel, those we have prepared for them a painful torment. Now, are they being painfully tormented because they're infidels? They died infidels?
This is just scary stuff.
So, and the repentance is not for those who do the evils until when they. Okay, so I guess if you're an evil person and you do evil and you wait until you're almost dead, Allah's not going to accept it. And neither of those who die while they're infidels. So, if you're a Muslim and you commit some evil deeds, and just before you die, you ask Allah or you
Forgive
tell
you?
Allah that you have repented, well, you're still going to go to hell.
Oh, that's because you got to work your way out of hell. You
Yeah,
didn't do enough good
so,
deeds.
and now you don't have time to do good deeds, outweigh the
So
bad
too bad
deeds.
for you. You aren't going to make it. You don't know if you did enough good things in your life, but we can tell
Right.
you're about to die, so you have no prayer.
Yeah, well, and that part is at the end of the day, it all
Oh
depends
my
if
gosh.
God created you for hell or for heaven. It has nothing to do with your good deeds. Oh, you who I'm pretty sure this
You're
says you
garbled
believe.
up. I don't know why, but yeah.
It could be my internet, which I don't
Okay.
know why. Oh, you who believe. Okay. I don't know why Osama likes to use believe. Oh, you who have believed, it is not lawful for you to inherit the women grudgingly. I don't know what that means.
Well,
That
only
means
thing I can guess here. I mean, can you imagine? Because there's so many women being sold and whatever that they're property. So women are just property. That's the thing to understand here.
right.
If women are considered property, and somebody died, and now you're inheriting your property, and you get three women that'll either be slaves or wives, you inherit them. Oh, great. I got to spend money on these three girls now.
Yeah.
Because they're property, you don't have a choice.
Okay. All you who have believed it is not lawful for you to inherit the women grudgingly, and do not hinder them in order to take from them part of what you have given them, unless they commit an obvious indecency
That's
and
really
live with
scary.
them in fairness. Okay.
Okay.
So if you hated them, so perhaps you may hate something which Allah has placed in abundance of good. I don't understand. First of all, why would you be with a woman that you hate?
Because they're property. That's it. The women are nothing but property. And you had to take them in because they're property. You did it grudgingly, but that's not what Allah wants. And you may hate that you have to provide for them because they're property, but Allah has given you something good. Is that what they're trying to say? Even though you might not want them around. Oh my gosh. It's hard to think of women as property.
Okay, Muslims can exchange their wives. Hey, it's kind of like going to the five and dime.
Is that the swingers thing?
Okay. And if you desire to exchange one wife for another wife and have given one of them a measure, do not take anything from it. Of
Wait,
course,
so
it
so
doesn't say
Muslims
why you
can
would
say,
want to.
"Hey, I don't like my wife right now. Can you exchange? I'll trade you. I like your wife. Can want to do a trade?"
Well, I'm thinking, okay, you marry your wife and she's hot, and then 5 years down the road she gets fat, and you
So
say,
you can trade her in.
I got
Like a car.
right. I was just gonna say that is, I was like, I gotta upgrade to a newer model. This one's got too many miles in it, and do not
So
take
so
anything from
trade
it.
you can trade her in for the next 9-year-old coming down the street. Oh my god. Wait a minute. I that is this
Whew.
okay, we have said and what do said it over and over again. The Quran has a lot of sex in it. Oh my
Hey,
god.
this kind of reminds me that Allah doesn't have a for better or worse in sickness and in health.
No, no, you can trade your wife in
it,
whenever you
it,
want.
it's until I change my mind, honey. If I change my mind, I'm going to trade your ass in for somebody with less mileage on it. Okay. Would you take it by slander and manifest sin? I don't know what that means. What
It
am I going
doesn't
to take
follow
it?
from what we just read. It doesn't follow.
Why? What would I take by slander? You can't take anything by slander. Okay. And how can you take it when one of you has gone into the other and they have taken from you a thick,
Oh, I don't even want to go where this goes.
okay, a firm covenant. So it's not
Firm,
really thick, it's
okay, firm.
firm
Okay, this
covenant.
just sounds nasty, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
How can you take from, and how can you take it when one of you has gone into, I mean, this sounds like sex. I'm sorry. I mean, is it,
I don't know,
hey,
man.
the next passage is about sex, so maybe this is about sex. How can you take it when one of you, oh my gosh.
How can you take what?
Say, read the whole thing.
You know?
Oh my, I don't know if you want to. Yeah.
From what? From 20?
Yeah, read 21.
Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
let's see. And if you desire, okay, so I desire to exchange one of my wives and have given one of them a measure, so which means I gave them a dowry. Do not take anything from it. So okay, I married a gal, I gave her some good stuff. Now I don't want to be with her, so I divorce her. I don't take anything from her.
No,
Then
no,
it
you
goes
trade her in. You don't have
right.
you
Would you
trade. I don't
take
think you have to, in this
right?
case, you have to, it doesn't sound like there's any divorce going on. It's just an
Right.
exchange.
That's a good question.
So in this case, you exchange wives, you don't have to divorce them. That's
I'm
what it looks
wondering if
like.
you have to. I'm wondering if you have to divorce her, but it doesn't say divorce.
No, I just trade her
But
in.
then the next one, the next one does. I just don't understand. Would you take it by slander and manifest sin? Take what? Take the measure that you gave her. Okay, and how
Would you
can you?
steal what, I guess that's okay, you're trading in your wife with too much mileage, and are you trading her in with sin?
I have
That's really bizarre, no matter how you look at it.
no clue. Okay,
Or
and
not, maybe you shouldn't slander her when
uh,
you're trading her in, because
could be.
that's like, it's like trying to sell a car when you've said you know, do you really want to buy this car? Last time I drove it, it died, 2 miles down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can think of. I'm trading her in, but really, she's like this. Oh, are you? Do you think someone would take her if you're? That's the only thing that makes sense.
No. Okay, and how can you take it? How can you take when one of you has gone into the other?
That is about
Who,
sex.
which, yeah, into the other, and they have taken from you a, what was that I said? A firm covenant. Okay,
Yeah.
and do not have sex or marry with women whom your fathers have had sex with, except what has already passed. What are you
So you
talking about?
can have sex with women who have had sex with your fathers.
I okay, so wait a minute. Except what has already passed.
I mean, that
Um,
kind of says there's an exception to the rule.
Now, does the accept what has already passed? Does that mean that you can't have sex with the wives of your father as long as he's alive, But when he dies, then you can marry and have sex with his wives. I don't know.
I hadn't even thought about that part of it. What has
You
already
know?
passed? So you can have sex with your mom, or no, no, that doesn't say.
Well,
Wait, that
not
doesn't mean
necessarily
mom. That means
right.
it
It's
would,
just
it would allow for. It sounds like it allows for
right.
incest.
It's right. I mean, if you know, um,
Wow.
if he only had one wife and he died, and it says here that you can't have sex,
Jeez.
marry a woman whom your father has married, which would be your mother. But if he passes away, which I don't
I mean,
understand,
these could be women they're talking about that are not the mother, but they would be.
there's no clarification.
Oh wow.
It just
Oh, it's
says
an allowance for incest, is what
it
it.
just says do
Oh,
not marry the women whom your fathers have had sex or whom your fathers have married, which his mother would qualify
ugh.
because I don't see anything, and I really don't understand.
So if we follow that, let's read this list. Let's not forget this last part. Surely this was indecent and hateful. Wait, in an evil way. We're not saying that incest is good. He's saying. I mean, does this follow? I mean, it sounds like it says this is an evil thing that you would have sex with your mother or with the women your father had sex with. But surely this is indecent and
Uh,
hateful in an evil way.
then it goes on and says, "Forbidden to you are your mothers." Okay, so you can have sex with the wives of your father, just not your mother. Okay, so you can't have sex with your mother, your daughters, and your sisters, and your paternal aunts, and your maternal aunts, so on both sides, and the daughters of the brother and the daughters of the sister. So you can't have sex with
Your
your
relatives.
right,
So
and
no kiss and cuss.
and and your mothers who nursed you. So if a woman nursed you, she's considered your mother, so she's off limits. And your sisters and the breastfeeding. Okay, so if your mother nursed a woman, you can't marry her because she's kind of considered like your sister. And the mothers of your women, okay, so you can't have sex with the mothers of your women, okay, your mother-in-law, and your stepdaughters, who are in your laps, born of your women. Okay, so you're married to a woman
Who
and
already had
he
children.
has a child, then you have on your lap, you can't have sex with her.
And
Okay.
they need to be told this. Oh, God.
Okay, born of your women whom you have entered into
I don't even want to go there.
your wives, okay, born of your wives, okay, which you had entered into, okay. So if you were not entered into them, so you are not at fault. I have no
So if you
clue.
didn't have sex with this woman, that you it was one of your women, you could have sex with your daughters. They're her daughters, is
I
what it sounds
guess.
like.
Well, what Du had said is that if you, let's say, had sex with a woman and you weren't married and she had a daughter, but then you married her, he said it's lawful for you to have sex with her because they don't see that as your daughter because she was born before you were married.
Oh,
I mean, it's just confusing.
God.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so if you were not entered into them, and had not so if you had not sex, so if you were not have so if you have not had sex with them, you are not at fault. Okay, fault for what? And also the wives of your sons who proceeded out of your backbone.
Oh, isn't that the place where sperm's supposed to come from?
Yeah, and
So
two
also the
sisters
wives of your
together.
sons who
But,
this. Okay, so you're that's what it's a reference to, the sperm that he believes comes out of your backbone.
but wait a minute. Man, this is getting kinky. Or maybe I'm just getting kinky over here.
So
Okay.
you are not.
So, so it's not your fault. And also, okay, so you cannot have sex with your wives, with the wives of your sons who came out of your backbone, and two sisters together.
Oh, that's the. Oh, wow. So that's a three. That's a foursome.
Except what has
Wait a minute.
passed. What does that mean?
There's an
What does that
exception. You
mean,
can do it
except
if
what
you
has
can do it if
passed?
it's okay. Allah won't mind. There's an exception. Okay, you can do it. It's okay. Allah won't mind. He's forgiving and merciful.
So does that mean you can have sex with two sisters, but you got to have one at a time?
Wait a minute.
And
You got
whose
to
sisters
add
are
in.
they?
Okay, the two sisters. Wait a minute. Wives of your sons. Not
But
at
it's still
fault.
talking about your two sisters. No, no, no,
Well,
it can't
it's
be
not
because
your
your
sisters.
sons, right?
Okay,
It's
it's
your
not.
sons,
No,
and
it's
whose sisters are these?
yeah. Then it doesn't say whose sisters these are. Wives of your sons.
Or is it just means that you
Oh, it's
can't have
talking about one of
sex
the
with two?
wives. You could wait. You got to add the wives of your sons in there. All right. So you're not at fault. The wives of your sons who proceed out of your backbone, and two sisters. Oh gosh, this is really disgusting.
I mean,
That sounds like a foursome with your son's
surely
wives.
Allah was forgiving, merciful. Okay. I mean,
Ugh, gross,
I
gross. I'm
like
sorry,
how
gross.
we segued
I feel like I
into,
need a shower.
you know,
Oh,
I like how we segued from inheritance to sex.
oh, this perverted
Okay,
God.
24. This is the one
Ugh,
about the right hand possesses. Okay, we're at
uh,
1 hour and 26 minutes. What do we still got? 13. Hey, Lisa, good to see you.
yeah.
Okay, 24. And married women are also forbidden, except all that your right hand possesses. Okay, so you can't have sex with married women, but you can have sex with married women that are your slaves.
So yeah, because immediately this is Sharia basically declares an immediate divorce.
Nullifies their
It nullifies their
their
previous
marriage.
marriage. Yeah.
Right.
So this is the decree. Yeah. So you can
Okay.
have you can basically you can rape the women that are your slaves is what this is saying.
Okay. So besides what Allah has just decreed, which is you can't have sex with the married women, but you can have sex with the married women that your right hand possesses. This is a decree of
Which
Allah.
is definitely rape.
Right. And it is lawful to you, besides this, okay? So, besides what Allah just said above, it is lawful for you to seek out women with your money, chaste without fornication. So, you got money, you can go and chase women who are virgins. So, whatsoever you enjoy by it, sexual parts from them, so
Ugh.
give them their wages. It is an ordinance. This
Okay,
is
this is muta.
right. I was just going to say this is muta. Okay. And there will be no sin on you about what you have mutually agreed on after the ordinance.
And
So,
this is yeah, this doctrine of muta. I mean,
right,
we've had people here in the United States. Um, one of the heads of ISNA got caught with, or no, it was CARE. I'm sorry, CARE got caught with his pants down, so to speak. He was paying girls for sex, and he was engaging in these temporary marriages. This is speaking to a muta as temporary marriage.
right.
So you just have to agree to a contract that the marriage will last oh so long. Now, when I was doing my research on this, there were Muslim women I found that were, it's not so bad. You just agree to be with a guy for, so long, and
Right.
you both part your ways. I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, and
It's kind of like what we call a prostitute, or no, actually a call girl,
yeah.
where you can
Oh,
hire a
and then
call
they
girl
have
for
to have it in the agreement. They have
right.
to have a statement in there about what happens if you have children. So, I mean, if he can actually say in the contract he's not responsible for any children that are produced, he can actually do that.
Mm,
Um, so if it's in the ordinance, this is
right.
the I mean, it's a contract, people. I mean, it's so they actually have contracts. This is happening here in the United States. It's happening in Canada, Europe, wherever. It is happening wherever there are Muslims, um, because it's in the Quran and it's okay. Oh, ugh.
And the Western governments are stupid. They don't know about this. Okay,
Yuck.
so whatever you enjoy sexual parts from them, so give them their wages. It is an ordinance. Now notice nothing here says about, like marriage, and there will be no sin on you about what you have mutually agreed upon after the ordinance. Okay. Hey, honey, listen. How about 3 camels for 2 nights?
Okay, let's take those 3 camels and okay. What about the children that come from that? Oh,
What children? They're
oh, wait,
yours.
you could say, well, I'm not paying for them, and that
That's
that
right.
would be it.
Hey, how can she prove they're yours?
Yeah,
No
what if
jury.
she's been with it? I mean, that's if you got a woman who's going to be this
Right,
kind of. I mean, the hint here. I think you have to go back up to actually discuss it. Is they're trying to say a woman who was a virgin
right.
will do this. So I mean,
So apparently, you could only
uh,
do you could only do muta with women with a woman who's a virgin. So this is basically a devirgination kind of.
well, it says chaste money. Well, no, chaste doesn't mean virgin though. I mean, she hasn't had sex for a while.
That's a good one.
I mean, that's if she's chaste, she hasn't had sex for a while, and she's
Okay, I
so think about
misunderstood.
that.
I okay,
She's
that's true. So maybe she hasn't had sex for like well, she'd have to not have
maybe a
sex for
couple
at
of
least
nights.
3 months. At least 3 months to make sure she's not pregnant.
Well, it doesn't say he has to know that. He just has to know
Right,
she's been
right, right.
chaste.
Okay, but there's no sin. Okay, surely Allah was knowing. Again, I'm having a problem with was knowing, but that's okay.
He
25.
doesn't know what he knows
Right,
because he
and
doesn't know math. That's what we
and
know from this chapter.
whoever okay, and whoever among you who cannot have sex, marry the free believing woman. Now, why can't you marry a believing woman? Marry whom your right hand possesses, slaves, from your young believing girls. Now, here's the thing. Why would you make slaves of girls that believe in Islam, that are Muslim? So basically, you can have slaves that are that are Muslim, who became Muslim after you enslaved them, but you still keep them as slaves. So what's the
Because
point of
the whole purpose in having again, part of the purpose in having sex slaves, female slaves, is just for the purpose of having sex. You can't. They don't want to give that up. Um, it's even if a woman turns Muslim. I mean, again, the purpose of part of you have to understand also the purpose of Islam is to humiliate those who are not Muslim. So even if humiliation causes them to turn to Islam, there's no benefit. And
No, that's what I was going to say. So I'm a woman. I became a captive, so I'm your slave now. I became a Muslim or a Muslima, but I'm still your slave. So you haven't really, it's like you said. So now I'm just a believing slave. I believe in your
and,
God.
and
I
that's the
believe in
right
your
way to
faith.
put it. Just
Right. I
just
believe in your faith. I believe in your God, but you're still going to make me your slave and you're still going to screw me. I mean, there's no benefit for the poor gal. Okay, so Allah knows best your fate. Some of you from others. Allah knows best your fate. Some of you from others. I have no clue what
doesn't
that
make
is.
any sense.
So have sex or marry with them with the permission of their masters and give them their wages with fairness. So you can also marry slaves, other slaves that are not yours. These are not your right hand possessors. So if your best friend, he's got 3 good looking, slave girls, you can marry one of them.
And again, this particular marriage we're talking about is again another engagement of muta. These are temporary marriages with other person's sex slaves. So you can be a pimp basically, and you can have girls working for you, and they engage in contracts with other Muslim men to have sex with them. And that's the sick sadness of what this says. Oh my! So this actually says being a pimp is okay in Islam.
Yeah, but see, I didn't know that you could marry the a slave from another.
No. That's a contract. That's a muta
Oh,
contract.
this is still a muta contract.
Yeah, that's a muta
Okay, this is
contract.
so confusing. Okay,
But that it just what it does is
right,
it
and give
basically
them
says the contract goes to the pimp. Okay,
and
and the one who
right.
really
So
benefits. Okay, this is the thing to think about. The contract benefits the pimp, not the woman, and
okay,
that's the truth of the matter here.
Okay, let me
So
see. So,
Islam says okay to pimps.
so have sex, marry with them with the permission of their masters, and give them their wages with fairness, chaste without fornication, and not entertainers of lovers. All right, so you can't do that with prostitutes because I guess that would be entertainers of lovers. So if they become Muslim, so if they commit indecency, okay, so if they become Muslim, so if they commit indecency, so torment them half of the torment prescribed for a free married woman. I don't know what
Wait. So they become Muslim, and what do they get in return?
it just says. So if they become Muslim, so if they commit indecency,
But who's the one? I mean, if they're slaves and they become Muslim, and the indecency is committed upon them, not because they have a choice, so torment them. I was really into torment.
by half of the torment that you torment a married woman. Okay, so I guess a married woman, that would be what, adultery, fornication, or something. Okay, okay. This chapter is
Uh,
by far the most confusing one ever.
yeah,
This is for those who fear to fall into fornication among you, and if you were patient, it would be good for you. Okay, this is for those who fear to
that's why it's
fall.
saying, yeah, this is there's an Islamic woman, a Kuwaiti woman who actually has been out there trying to legalize. Uh, I think she spoke basically to having sex slaves again, because men fear falling into fornication and adultery. That's what she's saying. It's better for the men, so they won't be committing acts of adultery. But as you've seen in here, acts of adultery are really condoned. There's really no condemnation of
Yeah,
adultery,
basically,
at least against the men.
right.
You can yell at the women who are having sex, but you can't blame the men because it's permissible for them. And that's the thing you have to understand. The women, when they get caught, you'll see that in Islamic countries, they'll whip them. They'll treat them so cruelly. They'll stone them. But again, the guy, they might, if they give him a lash, maybe a few lashes, and they'll let him go. He can do it again. I mean, yeah. Ah, disgusting. No matter how you look at it.
I definitely got a headache early. That math was okay. And for those who fear to fall into fornication among you, and if you were patient, it would be good for you.
That's that
Okay,
muta
that
thing.
means
You can go commit muta. It'll keep you from.
okay. Allah is forgiving, merciful. Allah desires to show this to you and to guide you into the customs of those who have been before you and relents on you. And Allah is knowing and wise.
So there was muta before Islam, and it's still good, is what he's
I
saying.
guess so. And Allah desires to relent on you. Man, He loves to relent on you. And those who follow the lusts, they desire that you should swerve with a great swerving. Okay.
I don't know. Allah has this real big desire, sexual lust, is what it
Let's
sounds
not
like.
let's not be on the same road with these people, because you know what happens when you
Ugh.
swerve.
Yeah.
Allah desires to lighten for you, to lighten what for you, and He created the human weak.
I thought he didn't like weak people.
So
Didn't we see it up above?
it's His faults.
It's his
Your
fault people are weak.
weaknesses, it's His faults.
It's his fault. You're weak, but
Oh
then he doesn't want
you,
anybody to give him anything.
oh you who have believed. There we go again. Do not consume your money among you with vanity, unless there was merchandise among you by your own consent, and do not kill yourselves.
Wait. Isn't this supposed to be the perfect book? Isn't this
Perfect book
supposed to be
of
the book
what?
that is by itself testimony that it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's perfect and that no one else that's supposed to be testimony that it's perfect? Can anybody make sense of this?
Okay. Do not consume your money with vanity,
Oh
but
my.
it's okay if there's merchandise among you by your own consent. Okay. And do not kill yourselves. Why would you kill yourself?
Allah's so into suicide.
I'm, I mean, seriously, why would somebody kill themselves?
Isn't Allah the one that told people to commit suicide in chapter 3, or is it chapter 2?
Well, actually, it was Moses. Allah didn't say anything. Moses told the people who worshiped the calf that it was better for them to kill themselves than, I guess,
Okay.
face Allah. Okay, surely Allah was merciful to you, and whoever does that transgressively and unjustly, so you will roast him, and so we will roast him in a fire. For this was easy for Allah. Oh, it's easy for
Wait a
Allah to
minute.
roast you.
So Allah burns people alive.
Yep.
I thought, do you remember ISIS people burning people and they were saying that's not Islamic?
Yep.
And right here we have Allah burning people alive. Oh, okay.
Hmm. Now,
Well,
exactly what he's burning them for, I don't know, because it just says in
doesn't
whoever.
does so it does whatever penalty. It's okay to burn them
Right.
alive.
So whoever does transgressively is. So whoever does that what? Okay. Okay. 31.
We've been talking about sex, but then we've been talking about money,
Okay.
so it's really confusing.
So according to this, small sins are forgiven, but not the big sins. Now remember that in Islam there's degrees of sin. That's why they say that the prophets didn't sin; they committed little sins. They didn't commit the big sins. Okay, what the hell is a little sin? Shouldn't having sex with a 9-year-old be like a major sin?
You
If
would
you
think.
if you avoid the biggest 19, okay, all right, I'm on a different laptop. Okay, so if you avoid the worst sin of which you are forbidden, we will atone for your evils, and we will admit you with a generous entry. And do not desire the bounty of Allah, which has given some of you above the others, which Allah has given you. So Allah gives some people more bounty than He gives you. The men will have a portion according to what they earn, and to the women a portion according to what they earn.
I think this again has to do with distribution of booty.
Could be.
Yeah,
And
when they brought
ask
their booty back
and
to
ask
yeah.
Allah for His bounty. Okay. Surely Allah was knowing of all things. So He was, but now He's not. Okay. And to everyone we have appointed heirs of what the parents and relatives left, and those with whom you have made an oath. So give them their portion. Surely Allah was a witness over all things. Now, how did we get back to leaving possessions to your parents and relatives when we just talked about sex left and right?
Well, because Allah or Muhammad or whoever's writing this, I
Okay,
still think it has to do with having epileptic seizures,
here
unfortunately.
comes the good one. 434.
Hmm.
Men are in charge of women by what Allah preferred some of them above the others, and by what they spent out of their money. Okay, so good women are obedient, guarding in secret that which Allah has guarded. What Allah guarded? Oh, wait a minute. Allah has been guarding vaginas.
I knew he was a perverted god. I told you he was
That
peeping
means
Tom.
okay, because it's telling. Okay, so good women. Okay, so good
Oh,
women are obedient, and the women are guarding in secret what Allah has guarded. So, what would a woman guard? I would think she would guard her vagina.
her privates,
So
at the
Allah
very
has been
least.
guarding her. So Allah has been guarding women vaginas. All right.
Oh, wow.
And of whom you fear rebellion. See, it doesn't say that your wife is rebellious.
It
It
just says
means
you
you
fear it.
fear. So
Okay.
preach to them and separate from them in the beds and scourge them. Now the other one
Uh,
said, beat
so,
them
for
with whip,
those of you who don't know, scourge is taking something like a whip that
kind of
has
like what
something
they
in.
did, kind of like what they did to Jesus.
Yeah, so it has like a piece of glass or a stone
Right.
embedded in it.
Or it could
Wow.
just, it could be like a leather belt or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, okay, so good women, all right, you good women, you're obedient, your guardian secret, which Allah has guarded, which I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's your private part.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you fear rebellion, You preach to them and you separate from them in beds and scourge them. So
You
if
beat
they,
that's a scourge. That's a
yeah,
pretty vicious
that's
word.
worse than beating.
Yeah, that's a severe beating.
So if they obey you, so do not seek a way against them. Okay. Surely Allah was higher, bigger. Okay, I'm sorry. Surely Allah was higher, big.
I don't think
Let
all Allah cares about is that you beat your women. It sounds like
me see what the
because you don't have to have a reason, and this is the thing that bothers me the most. You can you can think she might have a reason to rebel. You don't have to have an actual
all right. Well,
reason
according to
justification.
the other website, the word for word, it says Allah is all knower, all aware. That's not what
Yeah,
Osama. That's not what
yeah.
Osama says. He
But
says,
even that. So what did they say about what do they have the word scourge there?
let me see.
Separate from them in the beds and
Guarding the unseen, that which orders them to guard by Allah. Those whom you fear ill conduct, advise them and forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. Now, here there's a separation. It says, okay, you forsake them in bed. Okay, no, first you advise them. Then if
that's
they
to preach to them. Okay,
right,
that's advise and preach.
right,
Okay.
and then if they continue, you forsake them in bed,
Okay.
and finally you strike them. But Osama doesn't say that. It's kind of like and he says separate
Preach
them
them,
from
separate from
the
them,
beds and
and
scourge
scourge
them.
them. Strike
Right,
a scourge. Scourge is a lot more severe than strike. So
right.
yeah.
Okay, and if you fear separation between them, okay, surely Allah was higher or big. And if you fear a separation between them, a separation between whom?
I'm guessing that between your wives.
I don't even know if you have wives. How are we to assume you have wives?
So
What if you
send
only have one? Oh,
that is confusing. We don't
maybe.
really know. There's nothing here telling us.
Yeah, I mean,
Who is them?
maybe this is the messenger saying if you, I don't know. And if you fear a separation between them, let me see what this is, because that doesn't make any sense. And if you fear a dissension between the two of them, then send an arbitrator. But who?
Who's the separation or the dissension between? I mean, all I can think of is they're talking about about women, so this would be
Yeah,
wives.
but who's the one that's fearing the separation between these two individuals?
That would be the husband.
But that doesn't make sense.
So if the husband fears separation or dissension between two wives, they're not getting along. Yeah,
Mm,
that's almost close. If that's the case, so send for a judge from
yeah, but
his.
we have no
Oh
idea.
wait, now we have a problem. So send for a judge from his family. So this would be dissension between a husband and a wife.
But if that's the case, then who is the person that's saying if you fear?
Okay, so yeah, let me finish this. If you
So
fear,
okay, so maybe Allah is telling the prophet, if you fear a
well, we
separation.
don't know his prophet. You said there's two. He's a messenger. We got that
I,
one.
I, I don't even know where Muhammad would be in this one. Okay, and if you fear a separation between them,
I think
okay,
he's talking about a husband and a wife now,
you
because of
mean
what comes next. So
I
send
have
for a
no
judge
clue.
from his family. You say,
So
okay, in arbitration, you get someone from his family and someone from her family, and they decide what happens.
okay, so definitely that's not the guy talking about his wife. Okay,
So who's fearing a separation is what it
right,
means.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Somebody is fearing that these two people are
somebody
going to
is
separate.
peeping.
So you get a judge from the you get somebody from her family and somebody from their family to try to reconcile. But hey, caramba. Okay, if they desire reconciliation, Allah will bring them together.
So Allah isn't in on this unless Allah only gets the credit if they get back together again.
So so basically, Allah's okay if they separate. because he's only going to get involved if they agreed to get back together.
Wow.
Surely Allah was knowing, aware, and serve Allah and do not partner anything with him. Okay. Be good to the parents and the relatives and the orphans and the poor and the related neighbor or the unrelated neighbor and to the companion by your side and the son of the way, which is the traveler, and what your right hand possesses.
The
Oh my
slaves.
God.
That's gobbledygook.
Surely Allah does not love who was proud, boastful. 37. Those who are stingy. I see, I hate when they break a sentence.
It doesn't make any sense. Surely
That's what
Allah
he's,
does not love the proud, the boastful, and those who are stingy.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I just
that should be a complete, that should not
yeah,
have a break until he gets to in his bounty.
yeah, I'll agree with you that.
But I think even in the in the what do you call it?
Bizarre. Because if you only refer to this as those who are stingy and command others to be stingy and hide away what Allah has given them of his bounty, and we've prepared infidels
37,
a
37.
shameful
Those,
torment. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
37. No, it's the same thing. They split it up. Uh, okay, they split it up. 37, 30. Okay, and see the problem is that boastful. See, Osama has a comma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, boastful. Yeah,
Okay,
but there's no punctuation
but
in
there's
the
a
language.
punctuation. But in the translation on that website that I gave you,
Mm-hmm.
they have a period, so they ended it,
Okay,
which
so it
now
doesn't make
makes
sense.
sense. The comma there and a continuation that
I think it's a matter of opinion because it does sound like it goes with the following verse.
it would go,
Yeah.
the proud, the boastful, comma, those who are stingy and command others to be stingy and hide away what Allah has given them of His bounty.
I actually give Osama credit because I think a
Yeah.
comma is more appropriate there.
No, no, no. I don't have a problem with the comma. It's the verse. It's saying that this is a new verse when it's really
Yeah,
shouldn't be.
yeah, it really shouldn't be. And but
That's what I'm
again, if
saying.
we have people who are illiterate doing this, it makes more sense,
Right.
unfortunately.
I mean, the
But
comma
then
makes.
reading this must have been torture to begin with. So
I'm
as
telling
we're
you.
discovering,
I mean, the comma makes sense. It's a
yeah.
37 that I'm having a problem with because I'm looking for a different train of thought, and this would make more sense if it's boastful, those, blah 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 blah. Okay, and we have prepared for the infidels a shameful torment. Okay, yeah, we
Oh, he
know
likes to torment us.
Allah does not like the infidels, so don't be an infidel. 38.
Proud infidel here.
38, 38. Okay, and those who spend their money to be seen of men and do not believe in Allah nor in the last days, and whoever Satan was for him a companion, so an evil companion he has. Man,
Okay, I mean, so if you want to be, I mean, I get the part where you see people who spend money to be seen. I get that
right.
part. Okay, but if you don't believe in Allah, all of a sudden you have Satan as a companion.
Well, it looks like
I
it.
mean, if
It
you
looks
read
like
this, do you really believe in Allah? That's
it looks like he's lumping them all together in the group. You got the ones who spend their money to be seen.
Mhm.
You got the then to be seen, and they don't believe in Allah nor the last days,
Mhm.
and also the people who have Satan as a friend.
Okay.
So an evil companion he has. Okay, but okay,
Yeah,
30.
maybe you're right. He just lumps
Uh,
everybody together.
okay, 39. And what would it cost them if they believed in Allah and in the last day and spent from what Allah provided them? I don't know.
What are we spending?
Allah's bounty that He gave you. Where did Allah
Well,
get the
maybe
bounty?
I know what it is. Remember, Allah pays interest.
Right. That could be the interest that you earned.
Okay.
And Allah was a knower of them. So let's see 39. What does it say? 39. And what is against them if they, oh, okay, and what is against them if they believed in Allah in the in the last day? Oh, and the day the last. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. And the day the last, and spent from what has provided them Allah. And Allah is about them all knower. That does not make any sense.
And that's in the that's in the word for word, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that doesn't make any sense.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
All right. We are
Surely,
at 42. We
surely
got
Allah
5
will
minutes. Yeah.
not treat unjustly the weight of an atom. Okay. Now, somebody told me that the word actually means an ant.
Where are we? 42?
40.
40.
40.
I'm sorry, 40. Surely Allah will not treat.
Uh, they do say atom in the other one, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't think
I
they
don't
would.
think they knew what an atom was there. I think that's
Right,
a misnomer because I really don't think their definition of, I don't think atom can actually be here because it's the concept of it that our concept today cannot be what they actually meant.
right. I think, see, this is where. Let me see, man. I hope no, Watu's not in the background. I was gonna say this would be. Let me see. Is Gedalia still here? Uh, Gedalia. Does that say atom or does that say ant? If you're still here, verse 40. I don't think she's paying attention. They're having their own little party on the
No,
chats.
so she's there, but I think the question she might have to look it up.
Mm,
Um,
but I don't think she acknowledges.
uh, she
No,
wrote something.
no, all alone. Okay.
Okay, all alone. Yeah, the all alone. But we're looking at 40, verse
Wait.
40. Are we talking about atom or
Yeah, it's
ant?
talking or an ant. Let me see. Let me see if I can get the Arabic. 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. Let me see. Control C. Google Translate Arabic.
See, Adam's weight.
It's
Everything I'm looking at says Adam's weight.
indeed God is not wrong in atom's weight. Ah,
It's problematic because the concept of an atom didn't exist, and maybe okay. I've got Pickthall's translation. Olive wrongs not even the weight of an ant.
that's what I think it's supposed to be an ant. Verb,
Mhm.
craze, crack.
That
Yeah.
actually makes more sense than an atom because they wouldn't have known. I mean, I maybe Pickthall is wrong, but I don't think Adam is correct. That's my biggest issue with this, and yeah, I will go with that because it actually makes more sense.
Well,
Um,
let me see. Oh, I usually what I do is I go into translate and then I write it in English and then I go and I put it back into I put it to English. An ant is an ant is a nambla. Let me see. I don't see the word ant, so I don't know. But you're right. It would make no sense to use the word atom because nobody would have had any concept of an atom. That would be too sophisticated for Allah, given the fact that in all the other ones, he's very vague.
mhm.
But I don't see the word ant. But you know what? Let me type the word atom, see if I can see the Arabic. Aharatan. I don't see the word atom in there either. Okay, atom is Dharatan. Oh yeah, it is there. It's Daharatan. Okay, I guess. I guess it is atom. I don't know.
It says I still think that's a. I personally think that is a misnomer.
But I do
I think
I do
when I
know.
put in the whole translate, I put it into Arabic and I I put it into Google Translate. It used the whole verse. It says Adam, but
Right.
I think if I knew which word to isolate, I believe it would say ant. That's how, or something, or they may not know the translate what that word means. Um, that's more likely also the
One,
case. It might
two,
reference something that
four,
doesn't exist
five.
today. That's the only
One,
thing I can
two,
think
three,
of.
4, 5. I think this is the word right here. I think. Not sure. I think that's it.
Quranic, I'm going to the Quranic. We're on
Makdam. No,
440.
that's not it. Okay, indeed. Okay, indeed. Allah does not wrong. Okay, maybe this is Adam. Atomize. Okay, it's so far everything seems to say Adam,
Hmm.
which is kind of weird
It doesn't. It really doesn't make sense,
because
unfortunately.
they
I
say, "Oh,
mean,
look how." Okay, now that's his corn. Okay,
okay, Daharan
yeah,
too.
the Haratan is supposed to be Adam.
Yeah, and this is again problematic only in that. Let me see if I can try that. Again, the concept that we have of Adam today is still relatively new in this
Right.
world, so we can't. Yeah.
Now, maybe there's another Arabic word for an ant. I don't know, but it just the word for ant. I don't see it in the transliteration.
Hmm.
And then again, I don't have what do. Did he ever
Yeah.
respond back? What do is not answering his phone. So okay, so we'll just keep going. Okay, and if there be any good deed, he will double it. Okay, so Allah's gonna double it. So there's the interest, and
Oh,
he
he's
will,
paying. I was paying interest
yeah,
again. Yep.
and he
Let's get that down.
and he will give, and he will give from himself a great wage.
Allah's paying wages. Oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
Allah
okay.
sounds like a good employer. My employer hasn't
All right,
given me
he's
a
going to
damn
give you
raise.
interest, but God forbid that you should ask for interest.
Yeah. So how when we bring from every nation a witness, and we bring you up as a witness against those, against who?
Hmm. On
And
that day, those wow.
on that day, those who became infidels and disobeyed the messenger, they will wish that the earth was leveled with them, but they will not hide any saying from Allah. Okay, man.
Okay, we're up to 2 hour mark. Did you want to
Let me see.
break here?
How many people do we have? Yeah, we still got 14. Allah pays wages but needs a loan. Yes, Michael. There is no word dot. Well, there is the word. Hold on a second. Hold
Allah, that is funny. Um, Allah, Michael wrote, Allah pays wages but needs a loan. That's the joy of having a chronologically inept book. Uh, my understanding is this verse came later than the last chapter where Allah needs a loan. Is that correct? Chapter 4 comes. It's much
Chapter
later.
4 is actually 92.
Yeah, and so what's chapter 3?
Chapter 3. Okay, so chapter
I think
3.
it was there where we heard
Chapter
about Allah
3, I
needs.
think, is 85. No, chapter 3 is 89.
So okay, so we can look at it as well. You know, like Trump has gone bankrupt sometimes, and he's had people refinance him. Okay, so Allah went broke, needed a loan, and now he's flush. So he
Now
better have
he's got
paid off
money.
that loan with interest. Their God has to pay interest, but they don't want you paying it. Oh my gosh.
All right, Gedalia was answering us. Let me see. Okay, this is the transliteration that I have. And there is the Hadatan right after the Mythgal.
Mikala, but it's missing, she said. So
Yes,
whatever.
and it is missing from the
Mi-
translator, but that's a transliteration that I got from.
And that says something
That's
because what I think that's another thing here. That's why they've chosen the word Adam because there's something missing in the Arabic.
what verse was that? That was verse 40.
Verse 40.
Let me put the Arabic as verse 40 because I copied the Arabic and that's the transliteration, verse 40. Does Gedalia know how to read Arabic? No, it's in it's in the transliteration. So I didn't mess up. I did copy exactly what the transliteration says.
Yeah, there's a myth call there. It says right there, myth call Dehartin. It says it right there. The question is, what does Dehartin mean?
Yeah, but she says that the Haratan is not even in her transliteration.
Oh,
Okay, now
oh no, that's interesting.
let me give her the Arabic.
Okay, so she has a different translation.
She must have
Oh wow.
probably, but that's
So
what is she
when,
using?
when people say that there is only one Quran, we know there's at least 20 some odd different ones, and this is another case of proof of that. Thank you, Gedalia. So what do you think it means if it's not Adam? Is the question I think that we really have.
Oh, she says hers has a th. Mine has a dh. What the hell is going on here?
Tharatin. Oh, that's a huge difference. So what does Tharatin? Oh wow.
Google's telling me what a T.
Yeah, I see that.
Google's saying with a D, she's got a T. I have that would make a difference.
Yeah.
So where is she getting hers from?
Another translation. That's the only thing we can
Yeah,
know.
but where is she getting the other translation that has the transliteration, which means she would have to have a different Arabic.
So we can do
It could be translated as
transliteration.
I did find corn. I did find corn. Yet it's missing in QuranX.com. Let me go to QuranX.com because now she's got me curious. Okay, QuranX.com. Now I use QuranX.com for the tafsirs. I've never really used it for the Quran. So let me
Hmm.
go to the Quran. And what are we on? Chapter 4,
4 verse 40.
verse 40. Oh my God. You see, you can't trust crap. Go.
That says something. I mean
Ants,
that's
Adam, and Yusuf Ali doesn't even say Adam or ant.
hmm.
Okay, let me go ahead and put this into Google because this is okay. This is okay, but that
Yeah, Yusuf Ali ignores the whole thing. Pickthall says ant.
no.
Arbery says ant.
Quran X has the same thing as the other one. It says Adam.
Hmm.
Now, I'm looking at it,
Sahi,
but
Sahi International, Adam. It tells you about the time period these translations came out, which is
okay. Let me
after the
see.
discovery of the quote Adam. Or wait, Motion Khan. Let me read that one. It says, "Surely Allah's wrongs, surely Allah wrongs not even of the
Oh,
weight of an atom or a
she
small ant."
she is correct. When you see these conniving suckers, when you look at the transliteration of Quran X, theirs has a th.
Hmm. Interesting.
The other one has a dh. Now,
Yeah.
I don't think that Google can translate. Well, maybe you can. No, it doesn't translate it. It doesn't know.
Wow. All I
Darhatan.
can think, yeah. So RJ said a grain is small like an atom. It's not there. Oh, wow. I think this is an important point because we're looking at different translations and they're, well, not translations. We're looking at different Qurans and there's different letters there. So that makes quite a statement. I mean, if you've got, like, you can have a, like, let's look at English. You have a different letter. We can have band, or we can have a wand, or we can have a. I mean, think about all the words you could, let different words you can form. Yeah, it's yeah, one letter difference is
They
huge.
do translate it with a T.
Hmm.
Okay. The one that Gedalia just posted, because that's what I'm on. So, Gedalia, you are correct. Their transliteration has TH,
Hmm.
whereas the other website has the transliteration as DH.
It's interesting.
So there has to be a difference because a D and a T.
So she said, "What uh, well, he who in con God does not wrong anyone by as much as a grain's weight. If there be a good deed, he will repay twofold and will bestow." I think that's really close. A grain's weight. I like that. Actually makes a lot more sense even than the ant. Okay,
Okay,
I like that.
Pictol has an ant. Yusuf Ali 1985 totally ignores it. Mustafa
That's. I still think that
Adam
it was so
Green's
hard
weight,
to figure out that the translators didn't know what to do with
atom,
it.
a weight of an atom, a weight of wrong, the measure of a particle. I mean, some of these people just the weight of injustice. I-
I think it's a word that none of them know what to say. They didn't really
Right.
know, so I think that's something that makes sense.
Well,
I think
when,
this word was
was
supposed to mean something minuscule.
the atom discovered before 1924? Yeah,
Madame Curie
I
is
think
when we start talking about atoms. So um, it's been a long time since I've done science. Holy
let me
cow!
see, 1924. I mean, we know the Huffs is 1924. Let me go to one more place. Quran. Let me see. Let me go to
Um, she
Quran.
died, and then she was born in 1867, died in 1934. So that time period makes sense because the atom
Flash,
would have been popular around that point.
flash dot 40. Let me go over here. I gotta change this back to normal. Settings. Choose two translations. I'm gonna change the Fadal Solomon. Let me see what Fadal Solomon says. That's the guy with the 10 kirats. He says Adam's weight of injustice.
See, atoms were discovered in 1897. J.J. Thomson discovered the cathode rays are not like made from particles.
So by the time they wrote the 1924 version, they
Yeah,
would have known the atom. And
yeah. So
Roy has
that's
the
what we're at. It
same
was actually popular science at the time that they were. It was a popular discussion in science, so they're trying to justify this. It's
huh.
okay. Now we're learning something.
Okay. Anyway, but that's not going to get us.
Let's finish it up to 42. So and,
Yeah. Okay.
all right.
On that day, those who became infidels and disobeyed the messenger, they will wish that the earth was leveled with them, but they will not hide any saying from Allah. Okay. Women are dirtier than dirt. Ooh, that's got to make you feel good as a woman. Muslim women, did you know that you are dirtier than dirt? Okay. All you who have believed, do not come near the prayer while you are drunk until you know what you are saying, nor after sexual orgasm, except that you were merely passing by until you wash. You were
Are
merely
they
passing
saying
by
that this woman
what?
is walking around naked?
I mean, what does it mean? Okay,
Agreed with him not come near
I
prayer.
understand. Do not come near the prayer,
Well, you're drunk. I kind of get that.
but how can you come near a prayer?
Oh, well, I guess that's because somebody got to physically be, banging their head on the ground. Maybe. I mean, that's their concept of prayer.
I mean, I could understand, maybe they're saying do not go into the mosque to pray while you're drunk, or if
Okay, that makes sense
right after
too.
you've had sexual orgasm, except that you were merely passing by until you walk. Okay, so you passed by the mosque, you didn't go in to pray until you wash. And if you were sick or traveling, or one of you has relieved himself, or you have touched a woman, so you do so okay, so you okay, so you touched a woman, so you did not find water, so rub your faces and your hands with good dirt.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. So if you touch, I mean, if we just take this quite literally, if you touch a woman,
Women are dirty.
you have to clean yourself, and the woman is so dirty that if you wash your hands with dirt, yeah, women are dirtier than dirt. I see what he's saying. Oh, gross.
So basically, a woman is placed in the same category. Okay, so well, let me see if I get this right. If you're sick, if you're traveling, if you relieved yourself, or you touched a woman and you could not find water, you're supposed to wash your face and your hands with dirt. So basically, a woman is in the same category as you taking a crap, you being sick, and you traveling.
That is what it looks like. That's what the Quran says.
Okay,
Okay.
let's
Can
look at.
anybody say sexist? Oh,
Okay, women. That's how much Allah thinks of you. He thinks you like a pile of shit.
oh boy.
Because you're nothing but
Oh,
well, because remember, there's also the verse like that where Allah
oh.
says three things nullify a prayer. I think one was a donkey, a dog, and a woman. So if you're praying and a woman passes by, if a dog passes by, and a donkey passes by, you got to start your prayer over again.
Oh, get that good dirt out and wash yourself.
Now, some of these translations, they will put the word intimate with your wife and cannot find water.
Well, I almost, if Allah is a pervert, okay? If Allah is a pervert, listen, if God forgive me for saying this, but if we take Allah as a pervert and he's talking about touching a woman, he's talking about touching her intimately in places, yeah, that makes some sense, but it's not what it says. But that may be because Allah's a pervert and he's talking about touching women and in their private parts.
Now, Allah is very explicit about the sex
Yeah.
up above, but here he can't say if you have sex if you've had sex with your wife.
Well, he's not
Okay,
talking about sex. He's talking about touching her
right,
private parts.
but depending on which translation you use, like Muhammad Assad says, if you have cohabitated with a woman, okay, but cohabitated just means you live with a woman. That doesn't mean you had sex with her. I can cohabitate with a woman, but that doesn't mean I've done anything with her. So if I live with a woman, I have to wash my face and my hands before I go
With
to bed.
dirt.
Okay, Pictol just says if you have touched a woman. Okay, from the Office of Nature, or you have been in contact. Yusuf Ali just says if you've been in contact with a woman, contact how?
Oh my gosh, you were near a woman and you desperately have to wash yourself with dirt because they're worse than dirt.
This one says intercourse, or when you have consorted with a woman. That sounds kind of
That's closer, I would
right.
think. But again, Allah's
Touched.
a little perverted here. So I mean, I tend to think that this has to do with intimate touching.
See, here's the thing. All these people are making up crap that is not in the verse, in the Arabic verse.
Yeah.
The Arabic verse does not say your wife or all of that stuff. So all these people are trying to say,
Oh, because we have
"Oh,
to make exceptions for muta,
right."
and we have to
I
make
mean,
exceptions for sex slaves.
no, they're just making exceptions because they're like, Did Allah just compare a woman to a pile of crap? To you taking a
You
dump?
just got
You
compared
gotta, and
to
you have to
a
wipe,
movie star. Do you know that?
you know?
Yeah,
Okay,
you got compared to Donatello.
here we go. Jews and Christians are sellers of error and enemies to Muslim. Okay. Have you not seen those who have been given a portion from the book? Okay, a portion. What portion? Was it the first portion, the middle portion, the end portion? And 21 is supposed to be the Bible. Wow. They
Wait a minute. I
purchased,
thought we were talking about dirty women for a minute.
well, all of a sudden you go from dirty women, right? And all this other stuff. Now we're talking about Jews and Christians. They're sellers of error and enemies to the Muslim. Have you not seen those who have been given a portion from the book? We don't know what book. They purchase error and desire for you to go astray from the way. And Allah knows best of your enemies. And Allah is a sufficient friend. And Allah is a sufficient helper. Some of the Jews are those who alter the words from their places and say, we have heard and disobeyed, and hear, but as one that does not hear, and look at us twisting with their tongues and stabbing in the relation, stabbing 22, ridiculing in the religion. Okay, so they're twisting, but they're twisting with their tongue. They're not corrupting the book with their hands or writing stuff. And if they would say, we have heard and we obey and hear and see us, it would have been better for them and more right. Okay. But Allah has cursed them because of their infidelity. What does have to do twisting words with infidelity? So they will not believe except for a few. Okay, well, obviously, okay, only a few. And then he says here, I think we're going to stop at 47. The Quran confirms the Bible to be true. Oh, you who have been given the book, again, we don't know what the book is, believe in what we have sent down, which says the Quran, confirming what is with you, the Bible, before we hide faces and turn them on their backs. Okay, I don't understand. Oh, you who have been given the book, okay. Oh, okay, sorry. All right. Didn't even notice that. There you go. Okay.
Thank you. I accidentally clicked off. That's
No,
my
I've
fault.
done that myself. All right, we're on 47. Oh, you who have been given the book, okay.
So this thing about the book, they're saying they purchase error and desire, but there's nothing that they have done. I mean, they haven't changed the word from what I read here. There's
No,
nothing.
they just twist it with their tongue because that's what it
So
says.
they haven't changed the written word.
I don't see anything here that says okay, we have heard and disobeyed and we hear, but as those that do not hear, and look at us twisting with and look at us twisting with their tongues, and look at us. No, see, that's not right. That should say, and look at us twisting with our tongues.
Huh. Kind
What
of
the
gross.
hell? Look at us.
I mean, all I can think of is sort of you meet people who can twirl they can do different things with their tongues. Okay, so what? And stabbing in the how does that have to? I mean, if that's not a cultural reference, I just it doesn't make sense otherwise. I mean, not saying it needs to because it's in the Quran, but
Yeah, but the way Osama has it, okay, we heard and we obey here and look at us. Surely it would have been better for them, more suitable, twisting with their tongues and defaming in the religion. And if they had said, we heard and we obeyed, and hear and look and hear and look at us, surely it would have been better. This is a totally different. Okay, am I on the right one?
yeah, that's 46.
Is it 46 or 45?
46.
Okay. Yeah, his translation is completely, I mean, way off of this one here.
Okay, what's that one you have?
Okay, this one says, "Oh, those of the Jews, of those who are Jews, they distort the words from their places, and they say, we heard and we disobeyed, and hear not to be heard, and something reina. That doesn't even have a translation for the words. Twisting, and okay, here not to be heard, and twisting with their tongues, and
It's still very
defaming.
much the same. Yeah. And and defaming or stabbing in the religion.
Yeah, but does it say, "Look at us, look at," and yeah, it
I don't
doesn't.
think the look at us part is important because I think he was trying to translate what other people are afraid to try and translate. I don't think that part's important. It's the look at us, the twisting of the tongues. I think you're kind of forced to look at it, to be honest, with a
See,
sound.
here they have the twisting way before
Oh,
where Osama has it, because he's got it towards the end. They have it before.
okay.
Okay, so that's why I'm saying this
So
wouldn't make
twisting
sense.
with their tongues and keep going.
Yeah, because the way this says, "and look at us twisting with their tongues." This would be proper if it said, "and look at us twisting with our tongues."
Hmm. Oh
Or
yeah,
this,
they're different different pronouns.
or this should say, "and look at them twisting with
Twisting
their
with their
tongue
tongue. You're
and
right, and this
stabbing."
is one of the and this stuff with the problems with pronouns and the singular and the plural references and this is unfortunately a normal thing in Arabic problems in the Quran. We're finding this over and over again.
Yeah, because either this gets corrected to "and look at them," okay, or this gets corrected and it gets changed to "and look at us twisting with our tongues and stabbing." How do you stab something? How do you stab a religion? That,
Well, you remember
well,
Allah can be harmed.
but he says, Osama says that this is actually and twisting with their tongues and ridiculing
The religion, okay,
and the
ridicule it.
religion. So it's still, yeah, caramba, man.
Well,
After this, my English is going to be worse because I'm not a native English speaker. My first language is Portuguese, which
oh
I don't
boy.
understand because I didn't go to school there. But um, okay, but this is just like, whoa, man. And if they would say, but who is they? We have heard and we obey and hear us. It would have been better for them and more right, but Allah has cursed them because of their infidelity, so they will not believe except for a few. Okay,
So
all
so
right.
they're
So
infidels, and he curses them because they're infidels, and they won't
okay,
believe.
we actually we
They don't.
actually
They
read
won't
40.
believe because they won't believe.
We actually read 47. Oh, you who have been given the book, believe in what we have sent down, the Quran, confirming, again, we don't know if it's the Quran, confirming what is with you. It's assumed the Bible before we hide, because 23 and 24, this is what Osama is saying. The 23 is referring to the Quran. Now, why couldn't Allah just say, "Oh, you who have been given the book, we don't know the book, okay? Believe in what we have sent, believe in what we have sent down."
What? I still wondered what that thing is they sent down. Something
I
like
don't
a
know.
brick.
Indeed.
Did he
And
drop some of those bones? I mean, I don't know.
and confirming what is with you. Supposedly, that's a reference to the Bible. Before we hide faces and turn turn them on their backs. Okay, and curse them as we curse the companions of the Sabbaths. Okay, who's the companions of the Sabbath? Isn't that the Jews? Which
Well, I
companion?
mean, this is the thing Muhammad couldn't figure out because
And the
you
command of Allah was accomplished. What command of Allah was accomplished? What's the command?
again, not clear. This Allah doesn't communicate clearly.
All right, so let's leave off on here. So we
Okay,
left off at
we start next
47,
time at 48.
48. So we did about 2 hours and 30 minutes. We still got 14 people. The meteorite could be Allahu Akbar. Hey, Mikkel. Talmud equals oral law. Woman's period make her unclean. Yes. Allah gives women a period and calls her unclean for the period that He gave her. But a period is not really unclean. That's good. That's you rejuvenating, getting ready to have a baby. You got to clean out.
It's
You
a
got
sign that you're not pregnant.
Yeah, that's also a good sign that you're not pregnant. So, I mean, okay. Well, anyway, thank you, Paul. Well, let me see.
God
Tomorrow's
bless.
Saturday. Everybody that was in the chat, thank you very much. I'm trying to keep this because I'm pretty sure we could go for 5 hours or more, but trying to keep it in less than 3 hours. To the mods, thank you very much. I didn't see any Muslims tonight.
Oh, I think they're a
I
little
wasn't
cowardly.
really
I
watching.
sent out some invites.
I really wasn't watching the
I was occasionally. I just didn't
uh,
see any. I didn't see any.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mikel, Delia, whoever's in here. Let me see who's still here.
Guys are
RJ, the dog. The dog is in the house. Oh, we had one of these. Got to be bots, man. They were all over the place.
Oh, the bots keep coming, and I think
Yeah.
that's. I don't understand what the fascination is with the bots who keep having to get kicked out. But yeah, um, there is a Ukrainian or Russian bot that keeps coming here, and it's the same one. He just changes his name just to another Cyrillic language.
But it wasn't just here.
Cyrillic name.
I was on a couple shows today, and the same thing was happening on the other people's shows.
Yeah,
So okay, I'm definitely gonna pick up tomorrow. I don't know what time. Definitely, it will be after 12 because it's Saturday. I got to get some sleep.
I will not be available till probably after lunch. Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be after lunch for me also. So
Okay.
maybe sometime around 2 o'clock, 2 or 3.
Okay. God bless. Thank
All
you.
right,
I've
God bless.
enjoyed this.
Thank you, everybody, and I
I
hope
say
you're,
choose Christ. That's
yeah,
not
I hope
this.
you're not as confused as I am, especially with the math and all of this, because man, I am. My mind is blown away. I'm gonna have to go find that math issue because I'm not gonna try to figure out what happened. Anyway, okay, but before we go, we have to play my share the screen video file. See if I can find it. I don't know what it's called. Ask the Kaffer Show. No. Subscribe button. Enter. Is this it? Oh, here we go. Okay. That must have been Muhammad getting his revelation, that like the sound of a bell. Okay, end broadcasts. See you guys and gals tomorrow at about 3 o'clock. Okay, we end that. And